The sky above Metropolis tore open with a sound like reality screaming. It wasn't a boom tube. Those arrived with geometric precision. New God technology punching through dimensional barriers with controlled violence. This was raw, chaotic, a collision of energies that shouldn't exist in the same space. Golden light blazed against Apocalypse red, and somewhere in that impossible intersection, a figure hurtled through. Son Goku hit the atmosphere at terminal velocity, his orange GI whipping in the supersonic wind. For a moment, confusion eclipsed instinct. 1 second he'd been using instant transmission to escape a collapsing pocket dimension, the next, this. The energy signatures below felt wrong, familiar but alien. Like hearing your own voice played back in a different language. He sensed power everywhere. Massive concentrations of it. More gods and warriors than Earth should contain. He didn't have time to process it. The golden aura of Super Saiyan flickered around him as he arrested his fall, ki flaring to slow his descent. Below, a city of glass and steel stretched toward the horizon. And at its heart, a massive globe bearing a single word, Daily Planet. On a rooftop 3 blocks away, Clark Kent's head snapped up mid-sentence. His conversation with Lois forgotten. His super hearing caught the sonic boom. His vision pierced the clouds and locked onto the impossible, a man floating in the sky, surrounded by golden energy that Clark's every sense screamed was somehow alive. Hungry, powerful beyond measure. Not Kryptonian. Not anything in his extensive extraterrestrial database. The energy read like concentrated starlight wrapped in pure fighting spirit. Clark. Lois's hand touched his arm. Stay here. He was already moving, shirt tearing open to reveal the S-shield. The cape snapped behind him as Superman launched skyward, closing the distance in heartbeats. He stopped 50 feet from the stranger, hovering in the afternoon sun that powered his cells. That made him Earth's protector. The man in orange turned to face him, and Clark's jaw tightened. Those eyes held no malice, no conquest, just curiosity. And beneath that, a warrior's eternal readiness. Easy, Superman said, hands open, non-threatening. I don't know how you got here, but you're over Metropolis now. Let's take this somewhere we can talk without. The golden aura pulsed, and Clark felt the shockwave in his chest. Not an attack, just power, leaking out like Superman's own heat vision when emotions ran high. This man wasn't trying to intimidate. He simply was this strong. Metropolis. Goku's brow furrowed. He glanced down at the city, then back at Superman, and his expression shifted to something between awe and delight. Wait, wow, you're really strong. I can feel it from here. His grin was infectious, childlike despite the power radiating from every cell. I'm Goku. Sorry about the entrance. Something went wrong with my instant transmission, and I ended up wherever this is. Before Superman could respond, the watchtower communicator in his ear crackled to life. Batman's voice, flat and analytical. Unknown energy signature over Metropolis. Tracking shows dimensional breach, not portal technology. Containment protocols. Negative, Superman replied, not taking his eyes off Goku. He seems friendly. That's what they said about Mongol. A pause. I'm en route. Wonder Woman's with me. Goku's head tilted, his senses expanding outward in ways that made Clark's skin prickle. The Scion was reading him, measuring his power like a warrior sizing up an opponent before battle. But there was no hostility in it, just professional assessment. And maybe, Clark realized with growing unease, excitement. You're not human, Goku said finally. But you protect humans, right? I can tell. You've got that same feel as, well, like someone who's been Earth's guardian. He powered down, the golden aura vanishing as his hair returned to black. The move was tactical, showing trust, reducing threat. Smart. Look, I'm not here to cause trouble. I'm just really lost. Superman studied him. X-ray vision revealed bone density off the charts, muscle structure that defied human anatomy, and something else, an energy network running through the man's body, like a second circulatory system, pulsing with controlled power. Not Kryptonian physiology, not anything he recognized, but the intent behind the gesture of powering down registered. This warrior spoke truth. Then let's figure out where you're from, Clark said, slowly lowering until his feet touched a nearby rooftop. Goku followed, landing with practiced ease. I'm Superman. And you're right, I protect this planet. We both want answers. So here's what happens next. My team is going to want to meet you. Make sure you're not a threat. After that, maybe we can help you get home." Goku's expression brightened. That'd be great. Though, he looked out over Metropolis, sensing the massive power signatures scattered across the planet. Multiple Superman-level entities. Speed Force signatures racing along the eastern seaboard. Magic humming from a dozen locations. And something darker, colder, watching from beyond the stars. This place is incredible. So many strong fighters. Back home, I'd have to travel to other universes to find energy like this. The shadow fell over them both before Batman's voice cut through the moment. Other universes. The Dark Knight stood at the rooftop's edge, cape billowing despite the still air, Wonder Woman at his side. Her hand rested near her sword's hilt, warrior's instinct engaged. Batman's white lenses, fixed on Goku with the intensity of a man cataloging every detail, every potential weakness. "Start talking." Now, Goku turned, and his grin widened despite the obvious threat assessment happening. He could feel it. These three together created something greater than the sum of their parts. A trinity of power, wisdom, and justice. His scion blood sang, with the possibility of testing himself against them. But more than that, his earth-raised heart recognized what they represented. Heroes. Real ones. Just like his friends back home. "Well," Goku said, scratching the back of his head with that disarming smile. "This might take a while to explain. See, where I'm from, there's these things called Dragon Balls and gods of destruction, and I might have accidentally broken through a dimensional barrier while fighting this really tough guy named Jiren. And then there was this energy that felt like a portal, but wrong." And he trailed off, noticing Batman's expression darkening with each word. "You guys look like you've got questions." Wonder Woman's eyes narrowed. "You speak of gods casually. You were the bearing of a warrior, but the heart of a child. And your power." She stepped forward, and Goku felt her energy clearly now, divine, ancient, purposeful. "You are no mere mortal. Technically, I'm a scion," Goku offered. "It's a warrior race. We get stronger every time we fight, especially if we almost die. It's pretty great for training." Batman's jaw tightened fractionally. Superman caught it, the minute shift that meant. Bruce was already running combat scenarios, calculating threat levels, planning contingencies for this cheerful alien who talked about dying like it. Was a workout routine. The Watchtower communicator activated again. Different voice this time, cyborgs. Guys, we've got a problem. That dimensional breach? Something's coming through behind your new friend. Big signatures, multiple contacts, and they don't feel friendly." Above them, reality tore open again. Boom tubes, proper ones this time, geometric and precise. The sky filled with them. Parademons poured through like locusts, their chittering screams echoing across Metropolis. And behind them, larger shapes. Darkseid's elite. The invasion they'd been anticipating had finally come. But Goku wasn't looking at the parademons. His eyes were fixed on the largest boom tube, where a presence vast and terrible was beginning to manifest. He'd felt power like this before. Beerus, Jiren, warriors who could shatter universes. But this one carried something different. Not just strength. Pure, calculated evil. Batman's voice cut through the chaos. "Justice League, code red. Apocalypse is here." Goku's fists clenched, he already rising. That disarming smile shifted into something sharper, more focused. A warrior's grin. "Guess the introductions will have to wait," he said, golden aura exploding around him as he transformed. "Let's go." He shot skyward like a meteor in reverse, straight toward the swarm. Superman exchanged a glance with Batman, an entire conversation in a microsecond, then followed. Wonder Woman drew her sword and launched herself into the sky. Warriors' cry cutting through pandemonium. The Trinity moved as one, but above them, the Scion was already engaging. And the Justice League was about to discover what it meant when a warrior who lived for combat encountered gods who sought conquest. If you want to see more characters enter different universes, hit that subscribe button and drop the name of a character and the universe you'd want to see them in down in the comments below. Hope shines brightest in the darkest night. The first wave of parademons never saw him coming. Goku materialized in their midst using instant transmission, the technique working perfectly despite the dimensional displacement. His fist connected with the nearest creature's jaw, and the shockwave alone sent 20 more spiraling out of formation. No killing blow. Instinct held him back even as the swarm descended. These things felt more like drones than sentient beings. Extensions of a greater will rather than independent life. A parademon lunged from behind. Superman's heat vision carved through it mid-flight. The Kryptonian ascending beside Goku with controlled power. Their eyes met for a fraction of a second, Warrior recognizing. Warrior, before. The swarm engulfed them both. Their shocked troops, Superman called over the screeching chaos, catching 3 parademons in one hand and hurling them into their fellows. Expendable. The real threat is. The boom tube at the center pulsed, and something massive stepped through. Kalibak, Darkseid's son, stood 15 feet tall and built like a mountain learned to walk. The beta club in his hands hummed with apocalypse technology, and his eyes locked onto the golden-haired alien cutting through his father's army like they were nothing. A new fighter. Good. Kalibak lived for this. Darkseid seeks the Scion. His voice boomed across Metropolis. Surrender or be broken. Goku's head snapped toward the voice. Key sense reading the massive entity's power. Strong. Definitely strong. That club registered as dangerous even to his enhanced durability. And behind Kalibak, more figures were emerging from the boom tubes. Armored warriors with energy weapons. A tall woman whose eyes glowed with tactical malice. And something that felt like concentrated death. Wonder Woman crashed into the battlefield between Goku and Kalibak. Her sword deflecting a blast from the tall woman, Granny Goodness. Her armor crackling with Mother Box enhancements. Scion, if that's what you are, Diana called without taking her eyes off her opponent. We fight as one or we fall as individuals. The words resonated. Goku had heard them before in different forms, from Piccolo, from Vegeta reluctantly, from every ally who'd stood beside him against impossible odds. He nodded once, shifting his stance from solo combat to team tactics. Batman's voice crackled through Superman's communicator, transmitted so Goku could hear. Unknown, Goku, Kalibak is strong but predictable. He'll charge when angry. The woman with the energy whip is Granny Goodness, sadist and tactician. Don't let her touch you. The one emerging now is. The sky darkened as Steppenwolf materialized, his electro-axe already swinging, in a wide arc that would have decapitated anyone slower than Superman. The Kryptonian caught the blade with both hands, muscles straining against apocalypse engineering. Goku moved on instinct, appearing beside Superman and adding his strength to the equation. Together, they stopped the axe cold. Steppenwolf's eyes widened fractionally. 2 being strong enough to halt his blow? Impossible, the new god snarled. The Kryptonian, yes, but you. Goku's knee came up into Steppenwolf's gut. He enhanced and delivered with precision. The General of Apocalypse doubled over, and Superman's uppercut sent him careening into a swarm of his own parademons. The 2 warriors landed side by side on a rooftop, and Superman allowed himself the smallest smile. Nice hit. You too. Goku's enthusiasm was genuine despite the battle raging around them. Man, you're really fast. Almost couldn't keep up with that punch sequence. Almost. Superman's eyebrow raised slightly. Then the smile faded as his super hearing caught something. Incoming. North Tower, 70 degrees. The Omega beam cut through reality itself. Goku's instincts screamed. He grabbed Superman and used instant transmission, vanishing as the crimson energy carved through the space they'd occupied. They reappeared 3 rooftops away, and Goku felt his heart pounding not from exertion, but from recognition. That energy, it didn't just destroy. It erased. Completely. Like Beerus's Hakai but colder, more precise. From the largest boom tube, a figure emerged that made every other combatant pause. Darkseid stood 20 feet tall, carved from living stone and power absolute. His armor seemed to drink in light. And those eyes, those burning red eyes, surveyed the battlefield with the detachment of a god observing insects. The Omega beams that had nearly struck Goku and Superman faded back into those eyes. Tracked targets logged for future use. Kryptonian. Darkseid's voice carried weight that had nothing to do with volume. You brought me a gift. Batman dropped onto the rooftop beside Goku, batarangs already in hand. Don't engage him directly. Those Omega beams track targets through dimensions. They don't miss. What are they? Goku asked, eyes never leaving Darkseid. Death. Wonder Woman landed on his other side, lasso of truth coiled and ready. Inescapable death. Darkseid is a new god, Scion. He has conquered thousands of worlds. He seeks something called the anti-life equation, the mathematical proof that free will is meaningless. With it, he would enslave all sentient life in the universe. Goku's expression hardened. He'd faced tyrants before, Frieza, Cell, Majin Buu, beings who saw other lives as property or playthings. But something about Darkseid's absolute certainty, the casual erasure of existence in those Omega beams, triggered a deeper response. This wasn't a fighter seeking strength. This was a destroyer of everything Goku had ever protected. Then we stop him, Goku said simply. We. Batman's tone carried analysis, not doubt. You've been in this universe for less than an hour. This isn't your fight. Goku looked at Batman, and for a moment, the Dark Knight saw past the cheerful exterior to something ancient and unyielding. A warrior who'd died multiple times defending Earth, who'd faced gods and demons and never stopped smiling because the alternative was despair. Someone's trying to take away people's freedom, Goku said quietly. That makes it my fight. Superman nodded once. Then we do this together. Trinity formation, Diana, left flank. Bruce, tactical support and civilian evacuation. I'll take center with Goku. Unacceptable, Batman said flatly. We don't know his limits, his weaknesses, or if he'll turn on us mid-battle. He won't. Superman's certainty was absolute. I can hear his heartbeat, Bruce. It's steady. No deception. No malice. He means what he says. Before Batman could respond, Darkseid moved. The Lord of Apocalypse crossed the distance between buildings in a single step that defied physics. His fist aimed at Goku with strength that had shattered planets. The Scion met him head-on, and the collision sent shockwaves rippling through Metropolis. Windows exploded outward for 6 blocks. The rooftop beneath them disintegrated into dust. Goku's feet skidded backward through the air, boots leaving trails of displaced atmosphere. His forearms throbbed where he'd blocked. Darkseid's punch, the first time in years anyone had hurt him through pure physical strength, without energy enhancement. And Darkseid wasn't even trying yet. The new god's expression didn't change. Interesting. You withstood a blow that would liquefy the Kryptonian. That tickled. Goku lied, grinning despite the pain. His ki flared brighter, hair spiking higher. But I'm just getting warmed up. He vanished, and even Superman's enhanced vision struggled to track the movement. Goku reappeared behind Darkseid, fist glowing with concentrated ki. The punch landed dead center between the new god's shoulder blades, and the explosion of energy carved a crater into the street below. Darkseid stumbled forward one step. Then he turned, and for the first time in millennia, something almost like interest flickered across his face. You are not of this universe, Darkseid stated. The dimensional breach, you came through it, unintentionally. His eyes began to glow. Unfortunate. I had hoped you might join Apocalypse. Instead, you will serve as an example. The Omega beams lanced out, twin crimson paths of absolute destruction. Goku tried to dodge, but Batman's warning proved true. The beams curved, tracked, adjusted mid-flight with impossible precision. They were going to hit. Wonder Woman's bracers intercepted them, the divine metal deflecting Omega energy with a sound like reality tearing. She stood between Goku and Darkseid, arms crossed in defensive formation. Warrior Princess buying seconds with her own body. Go, Diana commanded. He's testing you. We need. Steppenwolf's axe came from nowhere, aimed at her exposed back. Superman caught it inches from her spine, but the impact sent both Kryptonians through a building. Kalibak charged from the left, Beta Club raised. Granny Goodness from the right, energy whip crackling. They were trying to separate them. Classic tactics. Isolate the unknown element. Eliminate him, then crush the Justice League. Goku's combat instincts, honed through decades of fighting the universe's strongest warriors, kicked in completely. He exploded upward, away from the Trinity, drawing his opponent's focus. As predicted, Kalibak and 4 elite parademons followed, abandoning their attack on Wonder Woman to pursue the new target. Smart, Batman muttered, already reprogramming his gauntlets for anti-new god countermeasures. He's drawing them away from us. Or he's about to get killed, Wonder Woman countered, pursuing Calabac with her sword raised. Superman emerged from the building debris, cape torn and smoking. He looked up at where Goku was leading his pursuers skyward, away from the city proper. "No," he said quietly. "I don't think so." High above Metropolis, Goku stopped climbing. He turned to face his pursuers, and his aura exploded into a pillar of golden light visible from space. His power level surged, hair growing longer, electricity crackling around his form as he ascended to Super Saiyan 2. Calabac roared and swung his club with all his considerable might. Goku caught it one-handed, and the shockwave flattened clouds for miles. "You wanted strong," Goku said, and his voice carried the edge of a warrior who'd been holding back. "Let me show you what that means." He crushed the Beta Club, Apocalypse technology crumpling like paper in his grip. Calabac's eyes widened in disbelief. Then Goku's fist connected with the new god's jaw, and Darkseid Sun became a meteor, crashing back toward Apocalypse through the boom tube he'd emerged from. The parademons swarmed. Goku moved through them like a dance, each strike precise, each movement efficient. He still wasn't killing these creatures, registered as more machined than living, but he was no longer gentle. They fell like rain. Below, Batman's analytical mind was already recalculating everything. "He's holding back," the Dark Knight said into the communicator. "That display of power, it's not his limit. He's testing them the same way they're testing him." "Then what is his limit?" Wonder Woman asked, cutting through 3 parademons with a single sword strike. Superman watched. Goku dispatch. Steppenwolf with a key blast that sent the general careening into low orbit. Watched him move with speed that rivaled the Flash. Watched him smile even as he fought for his life against overwhelming odds. "I don't know," Superman admitted, "but I think we just found an ally." Darkseid clearly agreed, because the Lord of Apocalypse raised one massive hand, and every boom tube began to close. The parademons retreated in perfect synchronization. Steppenwolf limped through a portal, Granny Goodness following with a calculating glare at the Scion warrior. But Darkseid remained a moment longer, eyes locked on Goku, who descended slowly, power still radiating like a second sun. "Scion," Darkseid's voice carried across the battlefield. "I will learn everything about you. Your power, your world, your weaknesses." The Omega effect pulsed in his eyes. "And when I return, you will kneel, or you will cease to exist." Looking forward to it, Goku called back with genuine excitement. "You're really strong. Next time, I won't have to hold back so much." For a fraction of a second, Darkseid's expression shifted. Not anger, not fear, calculation. This Scion truly didn't understand the threat Apocalypse represented. Or worse, he did understand and welcomed it. The final boom tube closed, and Metropolis fell into sudden, eerie silence. Goku powered down, descending to street level where the Trinity waited. His GI was torn, one sleeve completely missing, and blood trickled from a cut above his eye, evidence that Darkseid's strength had indeed reached him. But he was smiling. "So," Goku said, scratching his head with that disarming gesture. "That happen often?" Batman's eyes narrowed behind his cowl. "You're coming with us. Now, the Watchtower. Full debrief. And if you give me any reason to doubt your intentions, Bruce." Superman's voice carried quiet authority. "He just helped us drive back an Apocalypse invasion." He also caught Darkseid's attention, Batman countered. "The Lord of Apocalypse doesn't retreat. Unless he's gained something valuable. Information, analysis, strategy." His white lenses fixed on Goku. "Darkseid now knows you exist, which means he'll come back prepared specifically to kill you and everyone around you." The weight of those words settled over the scene. Goku's smile faded slightly as understanding dawned. Back home, he'd fought threats before they could endanger Earth. Here, his mere presence had painted a target on an entire world. Wonder Woman sheathed her sword. "The Dark Knight speaks harsh truth, but he is not wrong. Darkseid is patient. He will study you, find your limits, and strike when you are most vulnerable." She met Goku's eyes with a warrior's respect, but he would have attacked this world regardless. "Your intervention saved lives today. That matters." "Then we prepare," Superman said firmly. "If Darkseid wants a war, he'll get one. But first," he extended his hand toward Goku. "We need to know who you really are, what you can do, and whether we can trust each other." Goku looked at the offered hand. "Back home, He'd made allies of enemies. Piccolo, Vegeta, even Frieza temporarily. These people were heroes, not villains. And that handshake represented something important, a bridge between universes, between warriors who fought for the same reasons even if their methods differed. He clasped Superman's hand. Deal. I'll tell you everything. And maybe you can help me figure out how I got here. His grin returned. Plus, I'm really curious to spar with you properly. That punch you threw at Steppenwolf. I've never seen anyone move that fast except maybe Whis. Batman's jaw tightened fractionally. This scion wanted to fight Superman. For fun. The contingency plans were already forming. But Superman laughed. Actually laughed, the sound cutting through the tension. One crisis at a time. Goku, let's make sure you're not an interdimensional fugitive first. Oh, right. Yeah, I should probably check if Vegeta and Bulma are worried. And Gohan, man, he's gonna freak out when I tell him about this place. The Trinity exchanged glances. A whole world of warriors like this one. The implications were staggering. But that was a concern for later. For now, the Justice League had a new variable. A scion who fought gods and smiled doing it. A warrior whose pure heart might be exactly what DC's darkness needed. Or a weapon Darkseid would stop at nothing to claim. The Watchtower hung in geosynchronous orbit above Earth. A monument to humanity's cooperation with its godlike protectors. Goku pressed his face against the observation window like a kid visiting an aquarium for the first time, watching the planet rotate below with unconcealed wonder. That's so cool, he breathed. We've got spaceships back home, but nothing like this. Bulma would lose her mind. Bulma. Cyborg looked up from his console where he'd been, running scans on their guest. For the past 20 minutes. Every reading came back impossible. Energy signature fluctuated between city leveling and planet cracking. Cellular structure suggested biology that shouldn't function. And the most concerning part, zero traces of deception in vitals. This guy genuinely meant everything he said. My friend, Goku explained, finally pulling away from the window. She's a genius inventor. Built the first dragon radar, time machines, stuff like that. Batman's fingers stopped typing. Time machines. Oh yeah. Well, her future self did. It's complicated. There was this evil android from the future. And then Cell, and Goku noticed everyone staring. What? The Justice League conference room held the core team. Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, Flash, Green Lantern, Hal Jordan, Aquaman, and Cyborg. Martian Manhunter stood in the corner, his red eyes fixed on Goku with an intensity that spoke to telepathic examination. Each hero represented power that could reshape continents. Together, they'd repelled alien invasions, stood against gods, prevented apocalypses, and somehow, the man in the torn, orange GI sitting casually in a chair, designed for Darkseid. Interrogations made them all feel like they were the ones being evaluated. Let me get this straight, Flash said, vibrating slightly with nervous energy. You're from another universe. You fight gods regularly. You've died multiple times. 3 times technically, Goku interjected helpfully. Well, for if you count when I stayed dead for 7 years. But that was on purpose. And you casually mentioned time travel. Like it's a weekend. Hobby. Flash looked at Batman. Please tell me you're already working on a contingency. 17, Batman said flatly. Based on observed capabilities alone, that number will increase. Goku tilted his head. Contingency for what? For when you decide to conquer this planet. Aquaman's voice carried the weight of Atlantean authority. Or when whatever sent you here comes looking. Or when your enemies follow your trail. He leaned forward, trident resting against his throne-like chair. You radiate power like a nuclear reactor. That attracts attention. Dangerous attention. Arthur's right, Wonder Woman said, though her tone held less accusation than assessment. Darkseid retreated to study you. Mongol will hear of this battle and seek you for Warworld. Lex Luthor is likely already formulating plans. She crossed her arms. Your presence has disrupted the balance of power on this world. Goku's expression grew serious. I didn't mean to cause problems. Back home, I try to handle threats before they reach Earth. Guess I became the threat here. He looked down at his hands, calloused from decades of training. But I don't know how to get back. When I used instant transmission during that dimensional collapse, something grabbed me, pulled me sideways through reality. I felt your universe before I saw it. All this concentrated power in one place. Felt. John spoke for the first time, his telepathic voice resonating in everyone's minds. Elaborate. It's hard to explain. Goku stood, pacing to the window. Back home, I can sense ki, life energy. Everyone has it. Warriors can use it to fight, fly, shoot energy blasts. But here, he gestured at the earth below. Your planet has so many different kinds of power. Some feels like ki but faster, more electric. Some feels divine, like the supreme kais. Some feels technological. And some. He turned to face them, and his eyes found Batman. Some feels like pure wool wrapped in darkness. No ki at all, just determination so strong it registers as power anyway. Batman's expression didn't change, but Superman noticed the minute tension in his jaw. This scion had analyzed the Dark Knight in seconds, understood what made him dangerous despite lacking superpowers. The Speed Force, Flash said suddenly. That electric feeling. I'm a conduit for an extra-dimensional energy that governs motion. If your instant transmission intersected with it during dimensional transit, he looked at Cyborg. Vic, could that create a cross-universal breach? Cyborg's mechanical eye word, processing. Theoretically, if his teleportation operates on similar principles to boom tubes, but biological, and the Speed Force was actively in use nearby during dimensional instability, he pulled up holographic calculations. Yeah, it could punch through the walls between universes like a shaped charge. But closing it again? That's the problem. So I'm stuck here. Goku said it without despair, more like stating a fact. Okay, then I need to make the best of it. Can't train if I'm moping around. Train. Green Lantern's ring glowed faintly, constructs forming subconsciously. As Hal's willpower measured the potential threat. You just fought new gods to a standstill, and you want to train more? Goku's grin returned, fierce and eager. There's always someone stronger. That's what makes life exciting. Back home, I fought a literal god of destruction who could erase universes. Compared to Beerus, Darkseid feels. He paused, searching for words. Different. Not weaker. Just different kind of strong. More focused. And those Omega beams, I need to figure out how to counter them. You can't, Batman stated. They're absolute. They lock onto a target across dimensions and don't stop until impact. Diana's bracers can deflect them because they're forged by gods. You don't have that defense. Then I'll get faster. Goku said it with such certainty that Flash actually laughed. Faster than beams that track you through dimensions? Buddy, I'm the fastest man alive. And even I can't consistently dodge those things. Goku turned to Flash with sudden intense interest. You can move at light speed? Way past it when I need to. Could you teach me? The room fell silent. Superman and Batman exchanged a glance. They're wordless. Communication refined through years of partnership. This scion didn't just want to survive in their universe. He wanted to master it, absorb its techniques, grow stronger using their world's unique properties. It was admirable. It was terrifying. It was exactly what someone with pure intentions would do, and exactly what a perfect infiltrator would pretend to do. Before we discuss training, Batman's voice cut through the moment like a blade. We need complete transparency. You claim you fight to protect your Earth. Prove it. Bruce, Superman started. No. Batman stood, cape pooling around him like physical darkness. We've been burned before by beings claiming noble intent. Lex pretends to protect humanity. Darkseid promises. Order. Even Superman. He didn't finish that sentence, but everyone knew what he meant. In Justice Timeline, Superman had started with good intentions too. Wonder Woman's hand moved to her hip, uncoiling the golden rope that hummed with divine power. The lasso of truth. It compels absolute honesty. No mortal or immortal can resist its power. She held it out toward Goku. If you truly mean no harm, prove it. Let me bind you with this and answer our questions. Goku looked at the lasso, sensing the magic woven into every fiber. It felt ancient, purposeful, powerful. Back home, he'd faced magical threats. Majin Buu, Dabura. Even Beerus had techniques that bypassed physical strength. He knew better than to underestimate mystical artifacts. But he also understood what this moment represented. Trust had to start somewhere. Okay, he said simply, extending his wrists. Wonder Woman blinked. She'd expected argument, negotiation, perhaps even attack. Warriors of Goku's caliber rarely submitted willingly to binding. But he stood there, patient and open, waiting to be tested. She wrapped the lasso around his wrists. The golden light pulsed, and Goku felt the compulsion settle over him like a warm blanket. Not unpleasant, not invasive, just present. A gentle but absolute requirement. To speak truth. What is your full name? Wonder Woman began. Son Goku. Born Kakarot on planet Vegeta before it was destroyed. Your purpose for coming to this universe. Accidental. I was trying to escape a collapsing pocket dimension and got pulled here. Do you intend harm to Earth or its people? No. I protect Earth. It's my home. I've died defending it 3 times. Batman leaned forward. What are your limits? Maximum power. Goku's brow furrowed. Hard to say. I keep breaking my limits. Right now, my strongest form is Ultra Instinct, but I can't maintain it for long. In terms of raw power. He paused, thinking. I fought Jiren, who was stronger than his universe's god of destruction. I won, but barely. Compared to Beerus at full power, I'm probably around 60% of his strength. Maybe less. The numbers meant nothing to the League, but the scale registered. This scion casually discussed beings who could destroy universes, and admitted he was weaker than the strongest entity in his reality. It suggested both humility and terrifying potential for growth. If we opposed you, Batman continued, voice clinical, would you kill us? What? No. Goku looked genuinely horrified. I don't kill unless there's absolutely no other choice. Even then, his expression darkened. I've only done it twice. Kid Buu, because he couldn't be reasoned with and would destroy the universe. And Frieza, but he came back anyway. He met Batman's eyes. You're heroes. We'd spar maybe. Fight. But kill? Never. Even if we tried to imprison you? Aquaman asked. Contain you as a threat. I try to talk you out of it first. Show you. I'm not dangerous. Goku's honesty was almost painful. If that didn't work, I'd probably break out. But I wouldn't hurt anyone doing it. I'm really good at non-lethal takedowns after all the tournaments I've been in. Flash whistled low. He's either the most genuine person I've ever met, or the best liar in the multiverse. The lasso cannot be fooled, Wonder Woman said quietly. She studied Goku's face, seeing no deception, no hidden malice. Just a warrior who'd stumbled into their universe and wanted to make the best of an impossible situation. He speaks truth. She released the lasso, and Goku rubbed his wrists thoughtfully. That's amazing. Is it magical? I could feel it in my mind, but not controlling. More like clarifying. Forged by Hephaestus, empowered by Hestia's fire, Diana explained. It reveals truth and compels honesty. Very few beings can resist it. Could I try using it sometime? There's this guy named Vegeta back home who never admits when he's wrong about stuff. This would be hilarious. Focus, Batman interrupted, but his posture had shifted microscopically. The lasso's confirmation meant recalculating. Not a threat. Potentially an asset. Definitely a complication. You fought Darkseid to a near standstill. You claim you were holding back. What? Goku's expression grew serious. Because I didn't know if you needed me to. Back home, I've seen what happens when someone goes all out in a city. People die. Buildings collapse. I was watching Superman. He nodded at Clark. And he was strong but careful, pulling his punches so the shockwaves wouldn't level blocks. So I did the same. Superman felt something shift in his chest. This warrior from another universe had analyzed his fighting style mid-combat and adapted to match his restraint, not because he lacked power, but because he understood the responsibility that came with it. That explains the discrepancy, Cyborg said, reviewing combat footage. You had at least 3 opportunities to hit Calabac with killing strikes. You pulled back each time. He's Darkseid's son, right? Maybe he could be redeemed. I've seen worse people change. Goku shrugged. Plus, killing in front of you guys seemed like a bad way to make a first impression. Most warriors would take every advantage in combat, Wonder Woman observed. You fight with honor even against dishonorable opponents. I fight because I love it, Goku corrected gently. The challenge, the growth, testing myself against strong opponents. But that doesn't mean I want them dead. Just, he searched for words. Beaten, pushed past their limits so they grow too. Sometimes your greatest enemies become your best training partners. Green Lantern's ring pulsed, analyzing emotional content. Well, Scan confirms it. He genuinely believes what he's saying. No trace of orange tint, no avarice. Lots of green, willpower off the charts. And Hal frowned. Weird. There's blue flickering in there too. Hope. But it's mixed with something my ring can't categorize. Joy, maybe? Combat joy. Scion biology. John S. telepathic voice carried certainty. I touched the surface of his mind when he was bound by the lasso. He doesn't just enjoy combat. His species evolved for it. Fighting isn't violence to him. It's communication, art, meditation, and purpose combined. The Martian's red eyes fixed on Goku with something approaching awe. His mind is simultaneously the simplest and most complex I've encountered, focused entirely on growth, protection, and the next challenge. So what do we do with him? Aquaman asked the question they were all thinking. We can't send him home. We can't imprison him. He'd escape. We can't kill him even if we wanted to. And Darkseid now knows he exists. We make him an ally, Superman said firmly. He's proven his intentions. He helped us drive back Apocalypse. And if Darkseid is coming back prepared to handle Goku. Specifically, he looked at the Scion who was currently examining a holographic projection of Earth's solar system with childlike fascination. Then we need to be prepared too, which means understanding what he can really do. Batman's jaw tightened. You're suggesting we train with him. I'm suggesting we train with each other, Superman corrected. He learns our universe's rules. We learn his capabilities. And when Darkseid returns, not if, when, we face him as a united front. There's precedent, Flash added. We've worked with interdimensional heroes before. The crime syndicate, well, evil versions of us, but the principle stands. Multiverse exists. Sometimes people cross over. And this guy seems like one of the good ones. Wonder Woman stepped forward, extending her hand to Goku. The League votes. Those in favor of offering probationary alliance. Superman's hand rose immediately. Flash followed. Cyborg nodded. Green Lantern hesitated, then agreed. Aquaman studied Goku for a long moment before inclining his head. John S. telepathic approval resonated wordlessly. All eyes turned to Batman. The Dark Knight stood motionless, cape concealing his posture, white lenses revealing nothing. Everyone knew what he was thinking, contingencies, worst-case scenarios, the 1,000 ways this could go wrong. Batman trusted no one completely, not even his closest allies. Probationary, he said finally. Full monitoring. No access to secure systems. Limited Earth engagement until we confirm there are no tracking elements. Darkseid planted on you. His voice carried absolute authority. And if you step out of line once, if you endanger innocence, if you show any sign of the corruption we've seen in other powerful beings, I will stop you. Permanently. Goku met Batman's gaze without flinching. That's fair. I'd expect the same if someone showed up on my Earth claiming to be friendly. He grinned. Plus, I'm curious how you'd try. No offense, but you don't have any key. How would you fight me? Batman's expression didn't change. You'll find out if it becomes necessary. The threat hung in the air, and somehow Goku's grin widened. I really hope it doesn't come to that. But also, part of me really wants to see what you'd do. Flash laughed, breaking the tension. Oh man, he's going to fit right in. Bruce, you finally found someone who likes your planning as much as you do. I haven't planned anything, Goku protested. I just think it's cool that he can threaten someone way stronger than him and make it believable. That takes guts. Superman allowed himself a smile. Welcome to the Justice League. Goku, probationary member. He extended his hand again, and this time Goku shook it with a warrior's grip. We'll help you figure out how to get home. Until then, you're under our protection. And our scrutiny. Works for me. So, Goku looked around the watchtower with renewed interest. Does this place have a cafeteria? I haven't eaten since breakfast, and that fight made me really hungry. Also, someone mentioned sparring earlier. Cyborg groaned. Oh no. Flash, he's going to eat as much as you, isn't he? Probably more, Flash said cheerfully. Alien metabolism and all. The cafeteria budget is going to need serious adjustment. As the League began discussing logistics, where Goku would stay, how to explain his presence to the world, whether to contact other teams, Batman remained at the observation window, watching Earth rotate below. His reflection showed nothing, but behind the cowl, his mind raced through scenarios. Goku was genuine. The lasso confirmed it. But genuine people could still be used, manipulated, turned into weapons. Darkseid would try. So would Lex. And a dozen other threats who'd see this scion as either tool or target. The contingency files would need constant updating. Because Bruce Wayne had learned long ago that the most dangerous threats often came from those with the best intentions. And Son Goku, with his pure heart and godlike power, might be the most dangerous of all. The Justice League cafeteria had seen its share of impossible sights. Flash eating his body weight in food daily. Aquaman's occasional deliveries of exotic seafood. Even Martian Manhunter's addiction to Oreos. But watching Goku demolish his 14th plate of food in 20 minutes redefined the concept of superhuman appetite. Where does it all go? Cyborg asked, genuinely baffled. His sensors showed Goku's body converting matter to energy at rates that violated thermodynamics. You weigh maybe 180 soaking wet. You've consumed roughly 8,000 calories in 15. Goku mumbled around a mouthful of pasta. He swallowed and grinned apologetically. Sorry, Scion metabolism. We need tons of food to maintain our energy levels, especially after transforming. Super Scion 2 burns through calories like crazy. Flash slid into the seat across from him with his own towering pile of burgers. Finally, someone who gets it. The League keeps telling me I eat too much. You do. Green Lantern called from across the room where he was consulting with Superman. The monthly food budget is about to get a lot bigger, Flash finished cheerfully. He took a massive bite, then studied Goku with undisguised curiosity. So these transformations. You said Super Saiyan 2 back there. That means there's a 1, right? And probably more. Goku nodded enthusiastically. Super Saiyan has 3 main levels. Then there's Super Saiyan God, Super Saiyan Blue, and Ultra Instinct. Each one multiplies my power. Base form to Super Saiyan is 50 times stronger. Super Saiyan 2 is double that. Super Saiyan 3 is 400 times your base strength. Batman's voice came from directly behind Goku, who somehow didn't startle. The Scion had felt him approach despite the Dark Knight's legendary stealth, which means the power you demonstrated against Darkseid was roughly 1% of your maximum capacity. More like 5%, Goku corrected. I can't access my strongest forms for long, and using them on Earth, your Earth, seemed dangerous. Plus, I wasn't sure what Superman could handle in terms of collateral damage. Superman descended from the upper level, landing beside Batman. I appreciate the restraint, but it raises questions. He pulled up a chair, and suddenly the casual cafeteria meal became an impromptu tactical briefing. If Darkseid knows you were holding back, he'll return with overwhelming force. New gods, parademons, possibly other entities from Apocalypse we've never encountered. He'll want to see your limits. Let him come, Goku said simply. I'm always up for a rematch. That's not. Batman started, then stopped himself, explaining caution to a warrior who'd died 3 times defending. His planet seemed pointless. Different approach. You enjoy fighting. We've established that. But you also protect your Earth. Which priority wins when they conflict? Goku set down his fork, expression growing serious. Protection. Always. The fighting is just. It's how I protect. By getting stronger, I can handle bigger threats. By challenging strong opponents, I push myself past limits. He met Batman's white lenses. I know it sounds weird to you, but where I'm from, the strongest fighter is usually the last line of defense. If I'm not constantly improving, people die. Sounds like someone else I know, Flash muttered, glancing at Batman. Before Bruce could respond, the Watchtower's alarm system activated. Red lights pulsed as Cyborg's voice echoed through the station. Unknown energy signature detected. Location: Earth, Northern Hemisphere. Greenland. It's big, guys. Really big. The League moved as one. Years of practice turning casual meal into combat deployment in seconds. Only Goku remained seated, sensing outward with his key perception. His expression shifted from curious to alarmed. That's not from your universe, he said quietly. That energy feels like, no, it can't be. Superman turned back. What is it? It feels like a scion. The words hung in the air like a death sentence. The frozen wasteland of Greenland provided no cover. Just endless white stretching to the horizon. At its center, a crater smoked with residual energy. And standing in that crater was a figure that made Goku's heart sink. Vegeta stood with arms crossed. Royal blue armor pristine despite the dimensional transit. Widow's Peak unmistakable even at a distance. His power level registered clearly to Goku's senses. The Scion Prince was in base form, but ready to escalate at any moment. Kakarot. Vegeta's voice carried across the ice with aristocratic irritation. What kind of idiotic training exercise sends you to another dimension? Bulma's been frantically tracking your energy signature for 3 hours. The Justice League materialized around. Goku, Superman, and Wonder Woman landing beside him. Batman emerging from a cloaked Batwing. Flash vibrating into position. Green Lantern creating a containment bubble out of pure willpower. They'd responded with overwhelming force, expecting a threat. What they got was a domestic dispute. Vegeta. Goku waved enthusiastically. Man, am I glad to see you. How'd you even find me? Bulma built a trans-dimensional tracker using your energy signature. Obviously, Vegeta's eyes swept across the assembled heroes, analyzing each in microseconds. Superman, Scion-level power, possibly higher. The woman, divine energy, warrior stance. The one in black, no ki at all, which made him more dangerous, not less. The speedster, energy signature that hurt to look at directly. So these are the locals. They look soft. Vegeta, don't. I am Vegeta, prince of all Scions. His voice carried royal authority, despite the absurd circumstances. And you are? Superman stepped forward, hands open but posture ready. I'm Superman. These are my allies, the Justice League. We've been hosting Goku since he arrived in our universe accidentally. He's been cooperative and helpful. Vegeta snorted. Cooperative? Of course he has. Kakarot makes friends with everyone. His eyes narrowed. But his cooperation ends now. Bulma can pull him back through the dimensional breach if he returns to the exact coordinates where he arrived. So we're leaving. Not that simple. Batman's voice cut through. Dark Side of Apocalypse detected Goku's presence. He's already attacked once, testing capabilities. If Goku leaves, Darkseid may follow the dimensional trail to your universe. For the first time, Vegeta's expression showed something other than dismissal. Darkseid. I sensed his energy signature in Kakarot's residual ki. Traces. Strong. Very strong. The Scion Prince's lips curved into something that wasn't quite a smile. Stronger than you, Kakarot? Different, Goku said carefully, knowing exactly where this was going. He's got these Omega beams that erase anything they hit. And he's tough. Really tough. So you're saying you couldn't beat him? Vegeta's smile widened. Interesting. I didn't fight him at full power. There was a city underneath us, and I didn't want to. Excuses. Vegeta uncrossed his arms, and power began radiating from him in waves. The ice beneath his feet cracked, sublimating directly to vapor. Perhaps I should test these locals myself. See if they're worthy of the Scion Prince's time. Stand down. Wonder Woman's voice carried divine command, hand moving to her sword hilt. We seek no conflict, but we will defend ourselves if attacked. Will you? Vegeta's aura exploded outward, snow vaporizing in a half-mile radius. His hair flickered between black and gold. I wonder. Green Lantern's ring blazed, constructs forming, chains, walls, weapons. Hal Jordan, Green Lantern Corps. You're about to make a serious mistake. Your Highness. A Green Lantern? Vegeta's interest was genuine now. Willpower made manifest. Intriguing. But willpower means nothing if you lack the strength to back it up. He moved, and even Superman struggled to track it. Vegeta appeared in front of Hal, one hand reaching for the ring. The constructs shattered like glass against his palm. Hal swung with a giant green hammer. Vegeta caught it with his free hand and squeezed. The construct flickered, dimmed, died. Disappointing, Vegeta said. Flash vibrated into motion, circling at light speed, throwing lightning. Vegeta spun, tracking the speedster's movement with battle-honed instincts. His hand shot out, grabbed empty air, and caught Barry's shoulder as the Flash materialized mid-strike. Fast, Vegeta acknowledged. But speed without power is just running away. He tossed Flash like a ragdoll. Superman caught him before impact, and the Kryptonian's eyes began to glow. Last warning. Stand down. Vegeta met his gaze, and for a moment, genuine respect flickered across the prince's face. Finally, someone who might be worth the effort. Vegeta, stop. Goku stepped between them, hands raised. These are good people. They helped me. They're heroes. Heroes. Vegeta said it like the word tasted bitter. Kakarot, you've been here 3 hours and you're already defending them like they're your new best friends. Have you forgotten? We have actual threats to handle. Frisia's still out there. Beerus might wake up cranky. And Whis mentioned something about a new tournament of power. I know, but nothing. Vegeta powered down, aura vanishing as quickly as it appeared. We're leaving. Now, before this dark side tracks our energy signature and decides to invade our universe instead. Batman stepped forward, and Vegeta's eyes snapped to him with renewed interest. This one moved like an assassin, calculated and precise. No wasted motion. No fear despite the power differential. Dangerous. You're tactically sound, Batman said evenly. Removing Goku eliminates the bait Darkseid is tracking, but you've revealed yourself in the process. Now he knows there are at least 2 Psiots. And if he's as intelligent as we believe, he'll deduce your universe contains more. Vegeta's expression darkened. Then I'll kill him when he arrives. You can't, Wonder Woman said quietly. Darkseid is not merely strong. He is a concept made flesh, tyranny itself. He has conquered thousands of worlds. His Omega effect erases beings from existence across all timelines. And he is patient. He will study you, learn your limits, and strike when you are most vulnerable. Let him try. But Vegeta's voice carried less certainty now. He'd faced extinction-level threats before. Frisia, Cell, Majin Buu. Each one had pushed him to his limits and beyond. But something about the way these heroes spoke of Darkseid suggested a different class of enemy. Not just powerful, strategic, ancient, inexorable. Goku saw the calculation in Vegeta's eyes and knew his friend was reconsidering. Look, give me a few days. Let me help them prepare defenses against Darkseid. Then we'll both go home, and if he follows, we'll handle him together on our terms. You want to stay here? Vegeta's tone made it an accusation. You found a new universe, full of strong opponents, and you want to stay and fight them all. I want to make sure I don't lead a universal threat back to our Earth. Goku shot back. Vegeta, think about Bulma. About Trunks. If Darkseid follows us, and we're not ready, then we get ready here. Vegeta interrupted. We train in this universe, master whatever energy signatures exist here, and eliminate Darkseid before returning home. Strategically sound. Also, his eyes gleamed with familiar competitive fire. Also gives me a chance to surpass you using their resources. Goku grinned. Now you're talking. Superman looked between the 2 Psiots, recognizing the dynamic instantly. Rivals, friends, warriors, who pushed each other to greater heights. He'd seen it before in Hal and Guy's constant competition, in the way Barry and Wally challenged each other. But this felt more primal, more fundamental. These 2 didn't just compete. They defined themselves through competition. If you both stay, Batman said slowly, analyzing the tactical implications, we can coordinate, learn your capabilities, develop countermeasures against Darkseid specifically. His cowl turned to Vegeta. You're more strategic than Goku. Less friendly. Obviously. Then you understand the threat Darkseid represents. Not just to this Earth, but potentially to yours. Vegeta's jaw tightened. He hated admitting Batman was right. But the Dark Knight had accurately assessed the situation in seconds. 2 Psiots, temporarily stranded, facing a universal threat that could follow them home. The logical solution was to eliminate the threat here, in this universe, before it became their universe's problem. Fine, Vegeta said finally. We stay, we train, we kill this Darkseid, then we leave. He turned to Goku. But I'm not joining your little friendship club. I'm here to fight and survive. Nothing more. That's all we ask. Superman extended his hand. Vegeta stared at the offered hand like it might explode. I don't shake hands with people weaker than me. Then prove I'm weaker. Superman's smile held challenge. For a long moment, Vegeta studied the Kryptonian. Then slowly, deliberately, he clasped Superman's hand. The handshake held for 1 second. 2, 3, both warriors, testing each other's strength without escalating to actual combat. They released simultaneously, mutual respect established through simple contest. Cyborg, Superman activated his communicator. We're going to need 2 guest quarters. And double the food budget. Already done. Vic's voice carried resignation. Also, Flash wants me to tell you that he's claiming credit for predicting the food thing. As the League began transporting back to the Watchtower, Goku fell into step beside Vegeta. Thanks for coming after me. Don't be ridiculous. Bulma threatened to withhold gravity room upgrades if I didn't find you. Sure, that's the only reason. Vegeta's expression remained neutral, but Goku caught the slight quirk at the corner of his mouth. They'd fought beside each other too many times for false pretense. The prince had been worried. Not that he'd ever admit it. High above them, unseen by mortal eyes, a pair of golden eyes observed from beyond reality's edge. The presence, DC's supreme being, studied the two warriors from another universe with mild interest. The scion who fought with joy, the prince who fought with pride, both seeking strength, both protecting others whether they admitted it or not. They would disrupt the careful balance this universe maintained. But disruption, the presence considered, was sometimes exactly what stagnant gods needed. Down on Earth, in a penthouse office overlooking Metropolis, Lex Luthor rewound the satellite footage for the 15th time. Two alien warriors, both capable of threatening Superman. One already cooperating with the Justice League, the other barely restrained. Lex smiled, fingers steepled beneath his chin. Opportunities were presenting themselves. And on Apocalypse, in the throne room carved from living obsidian, Darkseid sat motionless as his servants brought reports. The scion had been joined by another. A prince, the data suggested. Proud, powerful, strategic, better and better. When Darkseid returned to Earth, he would claim not one warrior, but two. The scion race would serve Apocalypse, or they would burn. The outcome mattered less than the certainty of his eventual victory. He was Darkseid. He was inevitable. The Watchtower's training facility had been designed to withstand Superman at full strength. Reinforced walls infused with Kryptonian crystal technology. Floors that could absorb impacts measured in megatons. Energy dampeners to prevent catastrophic power releases from breaching the hull. It lasted approximately 40 seconds once Goku and Vegeta started sparring. Kakarot. Vegeta's fist connected with Goku's jaw, sending the larger scion through 3 walls. Stop holding back, or I'll make you regret it. Goku emerged from the rubble grinning, wiping blood from his lip. You're one to talk. That punch was barely Super Saiyan level. Both warriors' auras exploded simultaneously, golden light blazing so bright that Flash had to shield his eyes from the observation deck. The shockwave rattled the entire station. Alarms blaring as structural integrity warnings flashed across every screen. Okay, new plan, Cyborg announced over the intercom. Training exercises are now conducted on the moon. Repeat, moon only. We literally cannot afford to rebuild this facility again. Batman watched from the observation deck, arms crossed, analyzing every movement. Beside him, Superman's expression mixed concern with fascination. Wonder Woman stood at the window. Warriors' instinct cataloging techniques that predated human civilization. They're not even trying to hurt each other, Diana observed. This is play fighting for them. Play fighting that could crack a continent, Batman countered. Below, Vegeta caught Goku's kick and threw him into the ceiling hard enough to leave a crater. We need baseline measurements. Limits. Weaknesses. Right now, we have 2 beings on our station who could theoretically destroy Earth, and we have no contingency beyond hope they stay friendly. They are friendly, Superman said. Goku's proven that. And Vegeta, he watched the Scion Prince dodge a ki blast and counter with a barrage that lit up the training room like a supernova. He's loyal. To his family, to his friend, to his word. Diana's right. They're bonding through combat. Bonding. Batman's tone suggested skepticism. They're demolishing our facility. Because we gave them a facility that wasn't up to their standards. Wonder Woman pointed out. These are warriors whose baseline existence operates at godlike levels. Asking them to restrain themselves in a metal box is like asking Superman to conduct himself as a normal human constantly. She smiled slightly. At least they're enjoying themselves. Below, Vegeta swept Goku's legs, drove a knee into his stomach mid-fall, and prepared a devastating ki blast at point-blank range. Final flash. Kamehameha. Goku's hands came together, blue energy erupting to meet Vegeta's golden blast. The collision of energy tore the training room apart. Walls disintegrated. Floor buckled. The observation deck's reinforced windows cracked. Then both scions powered down simultaneously, panting but satisfied. Good warm-up, Goku said cheerfully. Barely adequate, Vegeta replied, but his smirk suggested otherwise. He glanced up at the observation deck. Your facility is pathetic. We need somewhere that can actually handle real training. Batman's jaw tightened. Suggestions? A pocket dimension. Alternative reality. Somewhere destruction doesn't matter. Vegeta crossed his arms. Don't you have any mages? Sorcerers? Someone who can bend reality. Actually, Flash's voice came through the intercom. We do? But you're not gonna like him. The House of Mystery existed in the space between spaces, anchored to reality by Constantine's will and a truly impressive amount of protective wards. It looked like a London townhouse that had been soaked in whiskey and bad decisions, then left to marinate in a cult atmosphere. John Constantine stood in the doorway, cigarette dangling from his lips, expression mixing, resignation and fascination, as he studied the two scions on his doorstep. Bollocks, he said eloquently. Superman, mate, I thought. We agreed you'd call before dragging cosmic-level problems to my threshold. This is different, Superman said diplomatically. Beside him, Goku waved with his characteristic friendliness. Vegeta simply glared, clearly unimpressed by the rumpled trench coat and cocky attitude. Is it? John took a long drag, exhaling smoke that formed briefly into protective sigils before dissipating. Because from where I'm standing, I'm seeing two walking apocalypses, who reek of dimensional displacement and foreign magic. And the scary one, he pointed at Vegeta, has murder in his eyes. I am a prince, Vegeta said coldly. Not the scary one. Right. And I'm the bloody king of England. Look, your highness, I don't care what royal backwater you crawled out of. In this house, I'm the authority on magical catastrophes. And you two register as Category 5 shitstorms waiting to happen. Zatanna appeared behind Constantine, her magician's outfit pristine compared to John's disheveled appearance. John, be nice. Batman sent a full briefing. They're not hostile. She studied the scions with professional interest. Though they are dimensionally unstable, the breach that brought them here is still technically open, just dormant, like a wound in reality waiting to tear back open. Can you create a training space for them? Wonder Woman asked, stepping forward. Somewhere their power won't endanger Earth. Constantine and Zatanna exchanged a look, entire conversation happening in microseconds of shared magical understanding. The mirror dimension, Zatanna said finally. Dr. Fate used it for containing apocalyptic entities. It's a reflection of reality where destruction is temporary. Whatever they break reforms within minutes. Also has the benefit, Constantine added, of being completely isolated. If something goes wrong, and with you lot, something always goes wrong, the damage stays contained. Perfect, Goku said eagerly. Can we see it now? Impatient, aren't you? But Constantine was already moving, fingers tracing sigils in the air. Golden light followed his movements. Reality bending to his will augmented by the House of Mystery's inherent power. Fair warning, the mirror dimension has side effects. Time flows differently. Gravity fluctuates. Magic is amplified. And if you stay too long, you start seeing things that aren't there. Or maybe things that are there but shouldn't be visible. Sounds perfect, Vegeta said flatly. As long as I can fight without worrying about collateral damage. Constantine's fingers completed the final sigil, and space tore open, not violently like a boom tube, but elegantly, reality unfolding like origami in reverse. Beyond the portal lay a landscape of crystalline mirrors reflecting infinite versions of themselves. Sky fractured into geometric impossibilities. Gentleman's agreement, Constantine said seriously. You break my mirror dimension permanently. I hex you both so thoroughly your ancestors will feel it. Clear. Crystal, Goku said, too focused on the new training ground to register the threat. Vegeta simply walked through the portal without responding, power already rising as he tested the dimension's properties. Gravity was heavier here, not enough to slow a scion significantly, but noticeable. The air carried magical resonance that made his ki react strangely, as if every energy technique would be slightly amplified. Good. More challenge meant faster growth. Goku followed, and the Justice League watched from Constantine's threshold. As the two warriors faced each other across a field of mirrors, their reflections multiplied infinitely. each one showing a slightly different possibility. Goku smiling. Goku serious. Goku transformed. Vegeta proud. Vegeta angry. Vegeta transcendent. This is insane, Flash muttered. We're enabling two universe busters to train without restrictions. We're giving them an outlet, Superman corrected. Better they do this in a controlled environment than getting frustrated and accidentally demonstrating power on Earth. You trust them. Batman's statement held no question. I trust Goku, Superman said. And I believe Vegeta's pride won't let him endanger innocence accidentally. He's too controlled for that. In the mirror dimension, both Scions transformed simultaneously. Super Scion 2, golden auras blazing with electrical discharge. Power levels skyrocketing as the dimension itself trembled. I'm not holding back this time, Goku announced, settling into a fighting stance. You wanted a real fight. Finally, Vegeta's grin was predatory. Show me what you learned from that Ultra Instinct. If you can. They moved. The battle that followed defied description. Speeds that made Flash's velocity look pedestrian. Impacts that shattered mirrors and reformed them instantly. Key blasts that illuminated the dimension, like stars being born and dying in microseconds. Goku's instant transmission let him appear behind Vegeta, fist already swinging. Vegeta's battle instincts caught the attack. Elbow intercepting wrist, knee driving into Goku's stomach. They separated, circled, clashed again. Gallic gun. Purple energy erupted from Vegeta's palms. Kamehameha. Blue met purple in the space between them, energies warring for dominance. The explosion should have killed everyone watching. Instead, the mirror dimension absorbed the impact. Mirrors cracking into fractal patterns before healing. Constantine whistled low. Bloody hell. And their friends. That's what friendship looks like for Scions, Wonder Woman said quietly. She understood it instinctively. Warrior. Cultures across the universe shared similarities. Amazons tested each other through combat. Scions took it to cosmic extremes, but the principle remained. They trust each other enough to fight without restraint. It's intimate, in its own way. Intimate. Batman repeated, deadpan. They're trying to kill each other. No, they're not, Zatanna pointed out. Watch their eyes. They're tracking each other perfectly, pulling punches at the last microsecond. This is sparring at a level we can barely comprehend. She traced a sigil, overlaying analysis magic onto the scene. See? Every strike lands just hard enough to push limits without causing permanent damage. They're calibrating in real time, adjusting power output based on response. She was right. Goku's Kamehameha had enough power to obliterate a planet, but he'd throttled it to match Vegeta's Gallic gun precisely. Vegeta's physical strikes could shatter moons, but he was landing them at exact thresholds where Goku's durability could absorb them. They've done this thousands of times, Superman realized. This isn't just sparring. It's communication. In the mirror dimension, Vegeta caught Goku's kick and grinned. You're getting sloppy, Kakarot. Still thinking about that dark side. Maybe. Goku twisted out of the hold, sweeping Vegeta's legs. He's strong. I want to fight him at full power. Then get stronger. Vegeta rocketed upward, energy gathering around him. Because I'm not letting you have all the fun. His aura exploded into something deeper, richer, Super Scion Blue. Divine Ki mixed with Scion power, transforming golden into azure radiance. The mirror dimension screamed with the strain of containing such power. Goku's eyes lit up. Oh, you're using blue? Guess I should too. His transformation was instant, practiced through countless battles. Blue hair, blue aura. Power that dwarfed everything he'd shown the Justice League by orders of magnitude. Christ on a cracker. Constantine breathed. That's godlike power. Actual divine energy. How the hell did mortals achieve that? Training, Superman said simply, and refusal to accept limits. And dying repeatedly, Flash added. Don't forget the dying. Goku mentioned that casually, but I think it's actually important to the power growth process. The battle escalated further. Goku and Vegeta blurred through the mirror dimension, their strikes creating shockwaves that the dimensional barriers barely contained. Energy blasts carved temporary rifts in space. Instant transmission let Goku teleport mid-combo. Vegeta's tactical brilliance kept him one step ahead despite Goku's slight power advantage. Then Vegeta overextended, feint that Goku saw through, and took a solid punch to the face. He spun backward, caught himself, and laughed. Actually laughed, the sound carrying genuine enjoyment. Better. You're actually focusing this time instead of getting distracted. Told you. Goku appeared beside him, not attacking, just hovering. Want to push higher? Try Super Saiyan Blue with Kaioken. Are you insane? Vegeta's expression mixed alarm with respect. That technique nearly killed you last time. The strain of mixing Kaioken with Divine Ki. I've gotten better at controlling it. Come on, Vegeta. When else are we going to have a dimension that can actually handle this? For a moment, Vegeta hesitated. Then his competitive nature won. Fine, but if you lose control, I'm knocking you unconscious before you destroy everything. Deal. Goku's aura shifted, blue mixing with crimson as he activated. Kaioken on top of Super Saiyan. Blue. His power multiplied again, and even through the dimensional barriers. The Justice League felt the pressure. It was like standing next to a sun, not the heat, but the sheer overwhelming presence of contained cosmic force. We need to leave, Batman said flatly. Now? That power level. Reality tour. Not in the mirror dimension. In the House of Mystery itself. A boom tube opened with surgical precision, and through it stepped three figures that made Constantine curse fluently in Latin. Darkseid's female furies, Lashina with her electro whips, Mad Harriet with her energy claws, and Bernadette leading them with cold tactical assessment. Apologies for the intrusion, Bernadette said, voice dripping false courtesy. But Darkseid requires information on the Scions, and you're going to provide it. Superman moved instantly, placing himself between the Furies and the portal to the mirror dimension. Wonder Woman drew her sword. Flash vibrated into combat stance. Batman's hand disappeared into his utility belt. Constantine just groaned. I bloody knew it. 1 hour. I had 1 hour of relative peace. Zatanna's hands moved in intricate patterns, words of power forming on her lips backward. Stelays pu. Protective barriers snapped into place, but Lashina's whips cracked through them like tissue paper. Apocalypse technology overriding Earth magic with contemptuous ease. Don't bother, Bernadette advised. Darkseid anticipated magical defense. Our equipment is specifically calibrated to neutralize your dimensional tricks. Her eyes flicked to the portal where Goku and Vegeta remained oblivious, lost in their battle. But we don't need to enter that dimension. We just need to observe, gather data, analyze weaknesses. Over my dead body, Superman growled. Bernadette smiled. That can be arranged. The House of Mystery had survived demon infestations, reality tears, and Constantine's questionable life choices. But it had never hosted a full-scale battle between the Justice League and Darkseid's elite forces while two Scions fought obliviously in a pocket dimension. Lashina's whips cracked like thunder, electro-energy seeking Superman's neck. He caught both with his bare hands. Kryptonian durability holding against Apocalypse engineering. Barely. The voltage coursed through his body, muscles spasming as he gritted his teeth. Diana. He threw Lashina backward, but Mad Harriet was already airborne, claws extended. Wonder Woman intercepted mid-leap, sword meeting claws in a shower of sparks. You fight with honor, Harriet giggled, the sound wrong coming from her scarred face. I fight to hurt. See the difference? She twisted impossibly, claws raking across Diana's forearm. Divine blood welled, and Harriet licked her claws with disturbing satisfaction. Tastes like disappointment. Wonder Woman's eyes hardened. The lasso of truth uncoiled, golden rope moving like a living thing. It caught Harriet's ankle, yanked her off balance. Diana followed through with a pommel strike that sent the Fury crashing through Constantine's bookshelf. That was a first edition Dante's Inferno. Constantine shouted, hands weaving desperate protection spells. Do you know what those cost? Bill Darkseid. Flash vibrated past, throwing lightning at Bernadette, who deflected it with arm-mounted energy shields. The speedster circled, looking for openings. But Bernadette tracked him with unnatural precision. Too slow, she stated, producing a device that hummed with motherbox technology. She activated it, and time within a 10-foot radius fractured, slowing to a crawl. Flash ran straight into the effect and stuck like an insect in amber. Movements glacial. Barry. Superman lunged for the device. But Lashina's whips caught his ankles, tripped him. He hit the ground hard enough to crack floorboards. And both Furies were on him instantly. Electro-weapons seeking weak points. Batman moved through the chaos like a shadow with purpose. Batarangs finding the exact junction points in the Furies. Armor where Apocalypse engineering relied on motherbox integration. Lashina's left whip sparked and died. Bernadette's time distortion device flickered. Clever, Bernadette acknowledged. Producing a backup weapon, a neural disruptor. But ultimately futile. She fired. Batman dodged, cape billowing to obscure targeting. The blast hit the wall behind him, and the stone began aging rapidly. Centuries of decay happening in seconds. Entropy weapon. Batman's voice carried analytical calm despite the danger. Accelerates atomic breakdown. One hit, and the great detective becomes dust, Bernadette finished. Yes, now stop moving, and this will be painless. In the mirror dimension, Goku finally noticed something was wrong. His key senses, enhanced by blue form and Kaioken, detected multiple powerful signatures beyond the portal. Battle was happening. His friends, no, allies, new allies, were fighting. He powered down instantly, blue and Kaioken vanishing. Vegeta, something's wrong. Vegeta caught the energy shift, following Goku's gaze to the portal. Through it, he could see flashes of combat, energy weapons, and Superman struggling against electrified restraints. TCH, can't leave you alone for 5 minutes before you make enemies. They moved as one, shooting through the portal back into the House of Mystery. The transition was instantaneous, and suddenly 2 Scions manifested. In the middle of the battlefield with power levels that made every combatant freeze. Goku took in the scene instantly, Superman restrained. Wonder Woman bleeding, Flash caught in time manipulation. Batman dodging entropy beams. His expression, usually so cheerful, went cold. Let them go. Not a request. A command. Backed by Warrior's authority earned through decades of protecting his Earth. Bernadette's analytical mind recalculated probabilities in microseconds. The Scions were here, which meant escape with data was now impossible. But observation was still achievable. She studied Goku's stance, Vegeta's ready posture, cataloging every detail. Darkseid sends his regards, she said calmly. This was reconnaissance, not conquest. You've already provided valuable information. Her eyes flicked to the device on her wrist, recording everything. Combat stance, reaction time, power distribution between allies. Thank you for the demonstration. She pressed a button, and reality tore open, not a boom tube, but something cruder, emergency extraction. The Furies moved as one, Lashina releasing Superman, Harriet abandoning Wonder Woman, all 3 diving through the rift that snapped shut before anyone could pursue. Silence fell over the House of Mystery. Constantine dropped into a chair, pulled out a flask, and drank deeply. I hate your friends, Superman. Hate them with the passion of 1,000 suns. They're not my friends, Superman said, ripping the remaining Electro Whip free. And they got what they came for. Intel. Batman was already at his gauntlet computer, reviewing everything. They recorded the battle, brief as it was, which means Darkseid now has footage of our response times. Combat coordination, and his eyes found Goku and Vegeta. Confirmation that both Scions will defend Earth. So, Vegeta crossed his arms. Let him come. I'll kill him and whoever else he sends. You don't understand, Wonder Woman said quietly, pressing cloth to her wounded arm. Zatanna was already chanting healing spells, backward words knitting divine flesh. Darkseid doesn't just fight. He analyzes. He waited months to attack Themyscira because he wanted perfect intelligence. He'll study that footage frame by frame. Learn your movements, your techniques, your weaknesses. Good. Vegeta's smile was sharp. Means he'll bring his best. I prefer opponents who are actually prepared. He's not wrong, Goku said, though his expression remained serious. Back home, we've faced enemies who studied us, analyzed our techniques. It just meant we had to get creative. He turned to Superman. Are you okay? Those whips looked painful. I'll recover. Clark rotated his shoulders. Kryptonian healing already working. But Vegeta's attitude, it's going to get people killed. My attitude, Vegeta said coldly, is called confidence. I know what I can do. I know what he can do based on the energy signature I felt when you fought him. And I know that if I can't beat him alone, Kakarot and I together can overwhelm anything. Darkseid isn't anything, Batman's voice cut through. He's everything. Tyranny personified. And arrogance. He stared directly at Vegeta. Is the fastest way to end up erased by Omega beams. For a moment, tension crackled between them. Vegeta, proud and unyielding. Batman, pragmatic and absolute. Two warriors who refused to bend, staring each other down across philosophical chasms. Then Goku stepped between them. Hey, we're all on the same side here. Darkseid's the enemy, not each other. He looked at Vegeta. You know Batman's got a point. Remember how you underestimated Android 18? Or how you thought you could take Perfect Cell alone? Vegeta's jaw tightened. Humiliating memories. But also lessons. Growth opportunities disguised as failures. Fine, he said stiffly. What do you suggest, detective? Batman pulled up holographic projections, battlefield analysis from previous Darkseid encounters, tactical assessments, known capabilities of apocalypse forces. We coordinate, learn each other's abilities, develop strategies that don't rely on raw power. Alone, his eyes swept across everyone. The Furies were right. Darkseid now knows we'll fight together. So, we need to fight smarter together. Training exercises, Wonder Woman said. Real ones. Not just scion sparring, but tactical scenarios. Learning to work as a unified force. I work alone, Vegeta stated. No you don't, Goku countered. You worked with me against Jiren. With Gohan and Trunks against enemies. You just pretend you work alone because admitting you need help hurts your pride. Vegeta's glare could have melted steel, but he didn't deny it. Superman stepped forward. Here's what I propose. We spend the next few days running joint exercises. Scions learn our capabilities. We learn yours. Then we develop a battle plan specifically for Darkseid's next invasion. Because he's coming. The only question is when. And if he brings his full forces? Flash had finally escaped the time distortion effect, vibrating molecules back to normal speed. Not just Furies. We're talking Parademons, Calibac, Steppenwolf, maybe even Desaad. Full apocalypse invasion. Then we call in reinforcements, Wonder Woman said. The Titans, Green Lantern Corps, Aquaman's armies, every ally we have. You'd start a war to defend us? Goku looked genuinely surprised. We're not even from your universe. No, Superman said firmly. We'd start a war to defend Earth. Darkseid was always going to attack. Again, you just accelerated his timeline. But that also means we're more prepared than we would have been. Your presence, your power, your warrior knowledge, it's given us an advantage. Constantine snorted from his chair. Optimistic bastard. I love it. Completely delusional, but I love it. He took another drink. All right, fine. I'll keep the mirror dimension open for your training. Free of charge. Because if Darkseid wins, my insurance rates are going through the bloody roof. Zatanna smiled despite the tension. We'll also research dimensional travel. See if we can get you home before Darkseid tracks your signature back to your universe. How long will that take? Vegeta asked. Days. Maybe weeks. Dimensional magic is complicated. And you two tore through reality like it was tissue paper. The breach you created has been trying to heal itself. But your energy signatures keep it irritated. Like a wound that won't close. So we fight, Goku said simply. Train. Get stronger. Help you stop Darkseid. Then go home. He looked at the assembled heroes, battered but standing. Determined despite facing cosmic threats. You're good people. Real heroes. I'm glad I ended up here instead of somewhere terrible. The multiverse is infinite, Batman said quietly. You could have landed anywhere. A universe where heroes are villains. Where Earth died long ago. Where Darkseid already won. His white lenses fixed on Goku. The fact that you arrived here now, with these abilities at this exact moment when we needed additional firepower against Apocalypse. You think it was destiny? Wonder Woman asked. I think it was statistically improbable to the point of impossibility. Which means either incredible luck or something guided the breach. A chill ran through the room. The implications were staggering. If something had deliberately brought the Scions here, what was its purpose? To help Earth? Or to orchestrate an even greater catastrophe? Worry about cosmic manipulation later, Flash said pragmatically. Right now, we've got training to do and an invasion to prepare for. So who wants to start with teaching me how to throw those energy blast things? They're called ki blasts, Goku said, brightening immediately. Teaching was something he actually enjoyed. And I can totally show you. It's all about focusing your internal energy, Later, Batman interrupted. First, strategic assessment. I need complete tactical profiles on both of you. Powers, limitations, weaknesses, energy expenditure rates, transformation requirements. This is going to take forever, Vegeta muttered. Welcome to the Justice League, Superman said with a slight smile, where Batman's paranoia keeps us alive. Over the next hour, they compiled information. Goku explained Scion biology, Zenkai boosts. Tail weakness, now removed. Transformation multipliers. Vegeta grudgingly detailed combat experience. Tactical knowledge from conquering planets under Frisia's empire. Methods for countering specific fighting styles. Batman absorbed everything. Mind already constructing battle plans, identifying synergies. Superman and Wonder Woman asked questions about Divine Ki, comparing it to their own power sources. Flash wanted to know if instant transmission could be taught to non-Psions. Cyborg analyzed energy signatures, building models to predict power fluctuations. Constantine just kept drinking, muttering about how his quiet life of damning souls and fighting demons was so much simpler than this cosmic-level insanity. By the time they finished, Earth's night had fallen. The watchtower hung above the dark side of the planet, a beacon of hope against the infinite void. And somewhere in that void, Apocalypse waited. Darkseid sat on his throne, watching footage of the Psions. Their movements, their power, their obvious attachment to Earth's heroes despite being dimensional outsiders. Perfect. Weakness identified. Strategy forming. The Psions would defend this planet, which meant hurting Earth would hurt them, and beings in pain made mistakes. Tactical errors. Opportunities for Omega beams to find their mark. Prepare the invasion fleet, Darkseid commanded. Full force. I want every parade mon, every ship, every weapon Apocalypse possesses ready to deploy. Desaad stepped from the shadows, skeletal fingers steepled. Master, if I may, such overwhelming force seems excessive for merely 2 additional warriors, powerful though they are. We're not invading to conquer, Darkseid corrected. We're invading to test, to push the Psions to their absolute limits, to force them to reveal every transformation, every technique, every desperate measure. His eyes glowed with Omega effect. And when they've shown me everything, when they've exhausted themselves defending their precious adopted world, he smiled. It was not a pleasant thing. Then I will break them, and they will kneel, or they will cease to exist across all timelines. The Lord of Apocalypse rose from his throne, and reality itself seemed to recoil from his presence. War was coming to Earth, and this time, Darkseid would accept nothing less than absolute victory. 3 days of coordinated training had transformed the Justice League's combat doctrine. The Watchtower's tactical displays now included Psion power scaling, energy consumption rates, and transformation trigger protocols. What had seemed impossible, integrating 2 universe-displaced warriors into Earth's defense, was becoming operational reality. The problem, Batman reflected as he watched morning drills on the moon's surface, was that operational reality still looked like controlled chaos. Faster. Vegeta barked at Flash, who was attempting to maintain speed while dodging ki blasts. You're telegraphing your movements. A half-decent warrior would read you like a book. I'm going Mach 5. Flash gasped between dodges, red lightning trailing behind him. A ki blast clipped his shoulder, spinning him out. He caught himself, vibrating through another volley. This is insane. This is survival. Vegeta fired another barrage, each blast precisely calibrated to push Barry's limits without killing him. Speed means nothing if you're predictable. Nearby, Goku sparred with Superman in the lunar dust, both holding back significantly, but still creating craters with each exchange. Goku's fist met Clark's palm, the shockwave rippling across the moon's surface. They held the position, testing strength against strength. You're stronger than last time, Superman observed, straining slightly. Did you get stronger from our last sparring session? Zenkai boost, Goku explained, grinning. Psions get more powerful after recovering from injuries or intense battles. The harder we're pushed, the stronger we come back. He released, flipped backward, and powered up to Super Saiyan. That's why we love fighting so much. Every battle makes us better. That's terrifying, Superman said honestly. It means the more we train together, the stronger you'll become relative to us. Well, yeah, but you guys can get stronger too. You just need different training. Goku launched forward, testing Superman's reaction time with a complex combination. Your body absorbs solar energy, right? What if you train to absorb it faster? Store more? Use it more efficiently? Clark blocked, countered, considered. I've never really thought about optimizing my solar absorption. It just happens. That's your problem. Goku landed a light tap to Clark's chest. Could have been devastating. Was gentle as a nudge. You've got all this potential, and you're using it casually. Back home, we train every day. Push past limits. Die. Come back. Get stronger. You're already incredibly powerful. But imagine if you actually train like your life depended on it. Wonder Woman observed the exchange from her position coordinating with Cyborg. The Scion speaks truth. We've become comfortable with our power levels, content to maintain rather than grow. Speak for yourself. Green Lantern called down from orbit, where he was attempting to create constructs fast enough to contain Vegeta's ki blasts. His ring kept shattering under the strain, reforming, shattering again. I'm pushing my limits just trying to keep up with Prince Sunshine over there. Your willpower constructs are weak. Vegeta didn't even look at Hal, firing ki blasts with casual precision while simultaneously coaching. Flash, you're imagining barriers instead of feeling them. Well, isn't thought, it's certainty. Easy for you to say. Another construct exploded. You've been fighting since, what childhood? Age 5. Vegeta finally glanced up, and his expression carried unexpected weight. Conquering planets for Frisia's empire. Learning that weakness meant death. I earned my strength through blood and survival, Lantern. Your ring chose you. But choice means nothing without development. Hal's jaw tightened. The criticism stung because it was accurate. He'd relied on the ring's power, on the Green Lantern Corps' training. But had he really pushed himself? Or had he coasted on natural talent and alien technology? His ring flared brighter, constructs solidifying with renewed determination. This time when Vegeta's ki blast hit, the barrier held. For 3 seconds. Then it shattered anyway, but Vegeta's smirk suggested approval. Better. Again. Batman watched from the watchtower. Tactical displays tracking everyone's performance metrics. 3 days of training had yielded measurable improvements across the board. Flash had increased his combat speed by 12%. Superman's reaction time had sharpened by 8%. Green Lantern's construct density had improved by 15%. Wonder Woman's already formidable combat prowess had adapted to incorporate Scion unpredictability. But the Scions had improved more. Goku's power reading had climbed 7% from Zenkai effects alone. Vegeta had achieved greater ki efficiency, likely from the mirror dimension's strange properties forcing adaptation. They were getting stronger, faster, and Darkseid was watching, learning, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. Bruce. Superman's voice crackled through the communicator. We've got incoming. Big signature. Not apocalypse, something else. Batman's fingers flew across the console. Long-range sensors pinged an anomaly approaching Earth at impossible speeds. Energy signature reading as Mongol, Batman stated flatly. He's here for the Scions. On the moon's surface, Goku powered down, sensing the massive presence entering Earth's atmosphere. Beside him, Vegeta's expression shifted from training focus to genuine interest. That power. Vegeta's eyes gleamed. Strong. Very strong. Not Darkseid level, but close. Should we? Goku started. A massive spacecraft tore through the sky, decelerating with thrusters that scorched the lunar surface. The ship was gladiatorial in design, all spikes and blood-red metal. Built to intimidate, it landed with earth-shaking impact, and a ramp descended with pneumatic hiss. Mongol emerged. 15 feet of pure muscle wrapped in armor forged from conquered worlds. His yellow skin was scarred from 1,000 battles. His eyes held the cold calculation of a being who'd broken countless warriors for sport. Science. His voice boomed across the moon's surface. I am Mongol, master of Warworld. I've traveled across sectors to offer you an opportunity. He smiled, showing teeth filed to points. Fight in my arena. Face the universe's greatest warriors. Earn glory, wealth, and the adoration of billions. Not interested, Goku said immediately. We're training to defend Earth. Mongol's smile widened. I thought you might say that. So I prepared an alternative offer. He raised one massive hand. And behind him, the ship's cargo bay opened. Inside, suspended in stasis fields, were civilians. Humans. Dozens of them, clearly abducted from Earth. Fight in my arena, or they die, Mongol stated casually. One battle. You win, they go free. You lose, they become my permanent collection. And I take you both for Warworld regardless. The Justice League tensed. This was classic Mongol. Force compliance through hostage situations. Knowing heroes' principles made them predictable. You abducted innocent people. Wonder Woman's voice carried divine fury. Hand moving to her sword. Release them immediately, or what? Mongol's eyes didn't leave the Scionts. You'll attack my ship? The stasis fields are biolocked to my life signs. If I die, they suffocate instantly. He spread his arms wide. An invitation to violence. But I'm not here for you, Amazon. I'm here for warriors who might actually challenge me. Goku's expression went cold in a way the League had never seen. His usual cheerfulness vanished, replaced by something ancient and absolute. You hurt innocent people to force me to fight you. Yes. Mongol seemed pleased. That's how warriors of worth are tested. By impossible choices. By pressure that reveals true character. Then you just made a huge mistake. Goku's power began rising, golden aura flickering. Because now I'm not going to just beat you. I'm going to make sure you never do this again. Vegeta stepped forward beside him, power also climbing. For once, Kakarot and I agree completely. You've insulted us, threatened innocence, and interrupted valuable training. His smile was predatory. We accept your challenge, Mongol. But when we win, and we will win, you're going to free every slave on Warworld. Dismantle your entire operation. And then you're going to beg Darkseid to protect you from what we do next. Mongol laughed, the sound echoing across the moon. Magnificent. Such confidence. Such fury. He turned back to his ship. Then follow me to Warworld. We fight in 1 hour. The entire universe will watch as I break you both. His ship lifted off. Trajectory calculated to return to the gladiatorial satellite orbiting Jupiter. We're not actually going, Batman said over the communicator. This is an obvious trap. Mongol fights on his terms, in his arena, with his rules. The moment you're there, he controls everything. He's got hostages, Goku said simply. We have to go. We infiltrate first, Batman countered. Disable the biolock, extract civilians. Then engage Mongol without his leverage. No time. Superman interjected, using telescopic vision to track Mongol's ship. He's accelerating to near-light speed. By the time we plan an infiltration, those people will be used as shields or leverage. We need to act now. Then we go together, Wonder Woman declared. Full League deployment. We've trained for 3 days specifically to coordinate with the Scionts. Let's prove it works. Mongol wants a gladiatorial fight, Vegeta pointed out. He'll only allow the 2 of us in the arena. If the rest of you attack, he kills the hostages out of spite. He's right, Cyborg confirmed, analyzing Mongol's psychological profile. Mongol's entire identity revolves around arena combat. He won't accept outside interference. It would undermine Warworld's purpose. Batman's jaw tightened behind his cowl. Every tactical instinct screamed trap. But the Scionts were already committed, and the hostages were real. Time for the contingency he'd hoped to avoid. Then we do this carefully. Goku, Vegeta, you fight in the arena. Superman, Wonder Woman, and I infiltrate Warworld through maintenance passages. Cyborg hacks their systems remotely. Flash stands by for extraction. Green Lantern provides orbital. Overwatch. He pulled up schematics. Stolen from previous Warworld encounters. We coordinate timing. The moment Mongol is distracted by the fight, we move on the hostages. And if Mongol has other plans? Superman asked quietly. Then we adapt. Batman's tone allowed no argument. This is what the last 3 days prepared us for. Coordinated response to impossible situations. Trust the training. Trust each other. Goku and Vegeta exchanged glances. For once, no rivalry. No competition. Just 2 warriors who'd fought side by side too. Many times to doubt each other when it mattered. All right, Goku said. We'll keep Mongol busy. You save the hostages. Then we all get out together. Agreed, Vegeta added. But Kakarot, when we fight Mongol. I know. Goku's smile returned, fierce and eager. No holding back. Warworld hung in space like a metallic tumor. Miles of arena and prison complex orbiting Jupiter's storms. Millions of beings from across the universe watched. Through holographic feeds, as 2 knew. Warriors materialized in the central Colosseum. Goku and Vegeta stood back-to-back in the arena's center, surrounded by 360 degrees of screaming crowd. Alien species shouting in languages that universal translators rendered as bloodlust and anticipation. Above them, suspended in a private viewing box, Mongol sat on his throne with the hostages in stasis fields behind him. A reminder of stakes. A taunt to heroes who valued mercy. Science. Mongol's voice boomed through speakers that could deafen lesser beings. Welcome to Warworld, where the strong dominate, where the weak are broken, where glory is earned through blood and survival. He gestured grandly to the crowd. Billions watch across the universe. Show them what warriors of your caliber can do. The arena floor rumbled. Hatches opened, and from beneath emerged creatures that made the Justice League's rogue gallery look tame. A Thanagarian warhawk with wings of sharpened metal. A Charnian berserker who might have been Lobo's cousin. A Daxamite warrior whose power rivaled Superman's. And more, a dozen of Warworld's deadliest champions. Each one a killer who'd earned their place through hundreds of victories. Survive this first round, Mongol announced. And we'll discuss terms for the hostages. Fail, and they watch you die before joining my collection permanently. Goku cracked his knuckles, assessing the enemies circling them. These guys are strong. Not Darkseid strong, but definitely dangerous. Then we end this quickly, Vegeta's aura flared. I'll take the left 6. You handle the right. Got it. They exploded into action simultaneously. Goku's instant transmission let him appear behind the Daxamite, fist already swinging. The warrior barely blocked, shock visible in his eyes at the speed. They exchanged blows that shattered arena flooring, each impact measured in megatons. Vegeta moved through his opponents like a scalpel through flesh, precise, brutal, efficient. The Thanagarian's metal wings met ki-enhanced punches and crumpled. The Charnian berserker roared and charged. Vegeta sidestepped, drove a knee into the creature's spine, and followed with a ki blast that sent him cratering into the arena wall. The crowd went insane, hidden in Warworld's maintenance tunnels. Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman moved like shadows. Diana's warrior instincts navigated the corridors while Clark's X-ray vision tracked guard positions. Bruce's tactical genius identified the path of least resistance to the hostage chambers. 2 guards ahead, Superman whispered. Apocalypse technology. Enhanced strength. I'll handle them. Wonder Woman moved before anyone could argue, appearing around the corner with sword drawn. The guards had barely registered her presence before divine. Steel found weak points in their armor. They fell, unconscious, non-lethal takedowns executed with Amazonian precision. Hostage chamber is 3 levels up. Batman consulted his wrist computer where Cyborg was feeding real-time data. But there's a problem. The biolock isn't just connected to Mongol's life signs. It's connected to the arena's environmental controls. If the fight ends too quickly, the hostages die automatically, Superman finished grimly. Mongol planned for infiltration. Then we need to disable the environmental controls before the fight ends, Wonder Woman stated, which means working faster than 2 Scions can defeat a dozen champions. They moved faster. In the arena, Goku and Vegeta had reduced the opposition to 3 combatants, the Daxamite, who'd survived through sheer durability, and 2 others who'd coordinated well enough to avoid instant defeat. But even they were flagging, injuries accumulating against opponents who seemed tireless. Enough, Mongol stood from his throne, and his voice carried command that silenced the crowd. You've proven adequate against fodder. Now face a real challenge. He descended from the viewing box, landing in the arena with impact that shook the entire structure. His power level made even Vegeta pause. This was no ordinary opponent. This was a being who'd fought Superman to a standstill, who'd conquered worlds, who'd broken the strongest warriors the universe had to offer. Come then, Scions. Mongol spread his arms wide, inviting attack. Show me why Darkseid fears you enough to send his furies to gather intelligence. Show me if you're worthy of Warworld's respect. Or, Vegeta countered, golden aura exploding as he transformed to Super Saiyan. We show you why. Abducting innocents to force combat was the last mistake you'll ever make. Goku transformed beside him, twin pillars of golden light illuminating Warworld's dark heart. The real fight was about to begin. and hidden in the maintenance tunnels, racing against time. The Justice League fought their own battle to ensure no innocents paid the price for victory. Mongol's first punch broke the sound barrier and cracked the arena floor where Goku had been standing a microsecond earlier. The Scion reappeared behind him using instant transmission, driving a ki-enhanced elbow into the alien warlord's spine. The impact should have shattered vertebrae. Mongol stumbled forward one step, then laughed. Finally, a warrior with strength worth measuring. He spun faster than his massive bulk suggested possible, backhand catching Goku across the jaw and sending him careening through 3 arena walls. The crowd roared approval, bloodlust reaching fever pitch. Vegeta used the opening, appearing above Mongol with both hands crackling with purple energy. Big Bang attack. The explosion engulfed Mongol completely. Energy output sufficient to vaporize a city block. When the smoke cleared, Mongol stood in a crater, armor scorched but intact, grinning with genuine pleasure. Yes, this is what I sought. He rocketed upward, closing distance with Vegeta in a heartbeat. Their clash sent shockwaves rippling through Warworld structure. Blow after blow, each one delivered with enough force to shatter planets. Yet both warriors absorbed and countered with practiced ease. Goku emerged from the rubble, wiping blood from his mouth. His earlier assessment had been wrong. Mongol wasn't just strong. He was combat experienced at cosmic levels. His technique refined through centuries of gladiatorial domination. This would require escalation. Vegeta, Goku called out, powering up further. His golden aura deepened, electricity crackling around his form as he ascended to Super Saiyan. 2. Let's not drag this out. Agreed. Vegeta matched the transformation mid-combat, his hair spiking higher as power doubled. His next punch actually made Mongol grunt, the warlord's confidence flickering for the first time. You're full of surprises, Mongol acknowledged, blocking a combination from Vegeta, before countering with a knee that would have pulverized steel. Vegeta twisted, took it on his forearm, felt bones creak under the strain. But surprises only work once. He grabbed Vegeta's wrist, swung him like a hammer into Goku, who'd been flanking. Both Scions collided with bone-jarring impact, and Mongol followed through, with an energy blast from his eyes that carved a trench through the arena floor. The Scions separated mid-air, flanking from opposite sides. Coordinated assault, Goku's Kamehameha from the right, Vegeta's final flash from the left. Blue and purple energy converged on Mongol from both angles, overwhelming his defenses. The explosion was visible from orbit. In the maintenance tunnels, the shockwave nearly threw Batman off his feet. Wonder Woman caught him, her enhanced strength keeping them both stable as Warworld shuddered. The fight's escalating, Superman said, his super hearing tracking every impact. We need to move faster. If the Scions push much harder, they might damage Warworld's structural integrity. Environmental control room is just ahead. Batman's wrist computer showed. Cyborg's infiltration progress, 92%, through Warworld's security systems. But there's a problem. The biolock isn't just connected to the environment. It's connected to the arena itself. Mongol designed it, so the hostage's survival depends on the arena remaining intact. So if the Scions destroy the arena, Wonder Woman's expression darkened. The hostages die, Batman finished. We need to disable the system before that happens, or tell them to hold back. They won't hold back, Superman said with certainty. Not with innocent lives at stake. They'll push harder, and the fight faster. Thinking speed will save everyone. His X-ray vision focused on the environmental control room. 30 guards, all armed with apocalypse technology. We don't have time for stealth. Then we don't use stealth. Wonder Woman drew her sword, divine metal humming with anticipation. We use speed and overwhelming force. Clark, you're fastest. Disable the weapons. Bruce, find the control override. I'll handle anyone who gets past Clark. Batman's jaw tightened. This was the chaos he'd tried to avoid, split-second tactical adjustments in hostile territory with insufficient planning. But the alternative was worse. Execute, he commanded. Superman moved first, bursting through the door at speeds approaching light. His heat vision carved precise lines through weapon barrels, rendering them useless before guards could fire. Fists blurred, pressure points targeted with Kryptonian precision. Bodies dropped, unconscious but alive. Wonder Woman was already through. Lasso of Truth snaring 3 guards at once while her sword deflected energy blasts. She moved with Amazonian grace. Each strike calculated to incapacitate without killing. These were mercenaries, criminals perhaps, but still beings who could choose redemption. Batman reached the control console, fingers flying across alien interface. Cyborg's remote assistants fed him access codes, system vulnerabilities, shortcuts through Warworld's labyrinthine security. The Biolox code was Byzantine, triple redundancy, quantum encryption. Deadman switches designed to trigger if anyone attempted unauthorized access. Vic, I need faster decryption. The Scions are going to destroy the arena in the next 2 minutes. Working on it. Cyborg's voice strained through the communicator. But Mongol's security is adaptive. Every time I break one layer, 2 more form. It's like fighting a hydra. Another massive shockwave rocked Warworld. Through the walls, through the very structure itself. They felt the raw power being exchanged in the arena. Goku and Vegeta were pushing Mongol to his limits, which meant Mongol was about to push back. In the arena, Mongol emerged from the smoke crater with armor shattered, yellow skin split and bleeding, but eyes burning with manic joy. Magnificent. You've actually hurt me. Do you know how rare that is? We're just getting started, Goku said, breathing hard. Super Saiyan 2 was taxing, but they couldn't afford to escalate to blue yet. Not with the arena's structural integrity already compromised. If they went all out, Warworld might crack like an egg. Then allow me to escalate as well. Mongol's body began glowing with sickly yellow light. His power level skyrocketed, doubling, tripling. Muscle mass increased, veins bulging with something beyond natural strength. Warworld's core provides energy to those worthy of commanding it. And I am Warworld's master. He moved faster than before, appearing in front of Vegeta without warning. His punch connected with the Saiyan Prince's stomach, and Vegeta's eyes went wide with shock and pain. The force drove him downward, cratering him into the arena floor, so hard that cracks spiderwebbed outward. For half a mile, Goku's instant transmission put him directly above Mongol, both fists hammering down on the warlord's head. The blow drove Mongol down toward Vegeta's crater, and Goku followed with a barrage of ki blasts that lit up the arena like a second sun. Kaioken. He couldn't risk Blue's power, but Kaioken on top of Super Saiyan 2 would have to suffice. Red aura mixed with gold, his speed doubling again. Mongol couldn't track him anymore. Goku was everywhere at once. Strikes landing from impossible angles, each one precise and devastating. Mongol's arm shot out blind, caught Goku's ankle through pure combat instinct. He swung the Saiyan in a wide arc, building momentum, then released. Goku rocketed toward the arena wall, but instant transmission let him vanish and reappear safely. Vegeta emerged from his crater, fury written across his face. Kakarot, stop playing. We need to end this now. I know. Goku powered down from Kaioken, conserving energy. But if we use our full power, we'll destroy Warworld. The hostages will die if we don't eliminate Mongol quickly enough for your Justice League friends to disable the biolock. Vegeta's tactical mind had already calculated the impossible equation. They needed overwhelming force to end Mongol. But overwhelming force would trigger the fail-safes. We need a precision strike. Maximum power, minimum collateral. You're suggesting we coordinate? Goku's surprise was genuine. I'm suggesting we actually work together instead of taking turns. Vegeta's aura flared brighter. I'll bind him with continuous attacks. You build your strongest Kamehameha. Then we finish this before your bleeding heart gets everyone killed. It was the closest thing to a compliment Vegeta had ever given him. Goku's grin returned. Got it. They moved as one coordinated unit for the first time in the entire fight. Vegeta became a golden blur, attacking from every angle, forcing Mongol into defensive posture. Each strike was designed not to damage, but to control, to limit Mongol's movement options. What are you, Mongol started? Final flash barrage. Vegeta's hands blurred through energy attacks. Purple beams hammering Mongol from multiple vectors. Not enough to hurt him seriously, but enough to keep him occupied, keep his attention focused forward. While behind him, Goku cupped his hands together, golden aura blazing brighter as he channeled everything into one attack. Not blue level, not quite, but Super Saiyan 2 with Kaioken times 20. all of it funneled into the technique he'd perfected through decades of use. Kami, energy gathered between his palms. Blue light growing brighter, more concentrated. The arena shook with contained power. Mongol's eyes widened. He tried to dodge, but Vegeta was there instantly. Golden aura flaring as he grabbed Mongol's arms from behind, restraining him. You want to fight the strongest? Vegeta snarled into Mongol's ear. Then don't look away. Kami. The energy between Goku's hands reached critical mass, threatening to tear reality if not released. Release me. Mongol's power surged, trying to break Vegeta's hold. The prince's teeth clenched, veins bulging, holding on through sheer stubborn refusal to let Kakarot down. Hiya! The Kamehameha wave erupted forth. Blue energy beam as wide as a city block, compressed to laser precision through Goku's masterful control. It struck Mongol directly in the chest, and the warlord's scream echoed across War World as the energy carried him backward. Through him, past Vegeta who'd released at the last microsecond. The beam continued, punching through the arena wall, through multiple interior chambers, through Warworld's outer hull, and out into space where it finally dissipated against Jupiter's atmosphere. Mongol collapsed, armor completely destroyed, body smoking, consciousness flickering. Still alive, Goku had held back just enough, but utterly defeated. The arena fell silent. Billions of viewers across the universe watched in stunned disbelief. Mongol, the undefeated master of Warworld, had fallen. In the environmental control room, Batman's fingers froze above the final command input. The biolock just disengaged. Mongol's life signs dropped below combat threshold. The system thinks he's dead, which means the hostages, Superman started, are free, Batman finished, pulling up the stasis field controls. The system defaulted to release protocol. We can extract them now. Wonder Woman's relief was palpable. The Scions did it. They actually controlled enough power to defeat Mongol without destroying Warworld. Barely, Batman pulled up structural integrity scans. We need immediate evacuation. This station is compromised. It might hold for hours, or it might collapse in minutes. Superman activated his communicator. Goku, Vegeta, we've got the hostages. Rendezvous at Mongol's throne chamber. We're leaving. Now. In the arena, Goku and Vegeta stood over Mongol's broken form, both panting with exhaustion. The fight had pushed them harder than expected. Mongol had earned his reputation through genuine strength, not bluster. We should kill him, Vegeta said quietly, looking down at the defeated warlord. He's enslaved thousands, killed millions. Letting him live means he'll rebuild, return, enslave more. Goku's jaw tightened. He knew Vegeta was right from a tactical standpoint. Mongol was a recurring threat, someone who would absolutely retaliate once he recovered. The pragmatic choice was execution. But pragmatism wasn't why Goku fought. No, he said firmly. We're not executioners. We'll let the Justice League decide what to do with him. They've got prisons, systems for handling this. Your mercy will get people killed. But Vegeta didn't press the point. He'd made similar choices before, sparing enemies who later became allies. It was stupid, illogical, dangerous. It was also why he'd never quite be able to surpass Kakarot. Because that mercy, that stupid refusal to kill when killing was justified, was what made Goku truly strong. They left Mongol unconscious in the crater and made their way to the throne chamber where the Justice League waited with freed hostages. Humans, terrified but alive, stared at the two warriors who'd saved them with a mixture of awe and fear. Everyone accounted for? Superman asked, X-ray vision doing a final sweep. All present, Wonder Woman confirmed. Though we should move quickly. Warworld's orbital stability is degrading. One more thing, Batman said, approaching a console near Mongol's throne. Mongol's arena feeds go out across the universe. To criminal networks, gladiatorial circuits, mercenary guilds. His fingers flew across the interface. And to certain entities who would be very interested in witnessing the Scions. Full capabilities. He pulled up the viewership logs, and his jaw tightened behind the cowl. Apocalypse had been watching. Live feed, direct connection, every moment recorded. Darkseid saw everything, Batman said quietly. He knows your transformation stages, your power output, your teamwork capabilities. And he knows you can be forced into action through hostage situations. Goku's expression darkened. They'd won the battle, but potentially lost the larger war. Darkseid now had tactical intelligence that would make his next invasion vastly more dangerous. Then we'll deal with that when it comes, Superman said, placing a hand on Goku's shoulder. For now, we save lives. That matters. The rest we'll handle together. As the Justice League and freed hostages transported out via boom tube coordinates, Batman had hijacked, Warworld began its slow collapse behind them. Mongol would be found by his followers eventually, would rebuild, would threaten again. But today, Earth's heroes and their dimensional allies had won. And across the universe, in throne rooms and war councils, on criminal stations and in gladiatorial arenas, a new truth spread through the cosmic underground. The Scions had come to Earth, and they fought with the fury of gods. The Watchtower's medical bay had become a study in contrasts. Superman floated near a solar lamp, absorbing yellow sun radiation to accelerate, healing from Mongol's few successful strikes. Wonder Woman sat while Zatanna healed the gash on her forearm, magical energy knitting divine flesh with whispered backward incantations. Batman stood at a console, analyzing combat footage with Cyborg, cataloging every tactical error. And in the corner, Goku devoured his 8th plate of food while Vegeta brooded silently, arms crossed, staring at Earth's rotation through the observation window. "You're quiet," Goku said between bites. "Usually after a good fight, you're either complaining I held back or bragging about your performance." "I'm thinking," Vegeta replied without turning. "About what the detective said. Darkseid watched everything. Knows our capabilities now. Knows Mongol pushed us to Super Saiyan 2 with Kaioken. So we show him blue next time. Or Ultra Instinct if I can maintain it." "That's not the point," Kakarot. Vegeta finally turned, and his expression carried unusual weight. "Every fight, we reveal more. Every transformation, every technique, it's intelligence our enemies can use. Back home, we fought threats as they appeared. Here, we're surrounded by tactical minds who plan months in advance." His eyes flicked toward Batman. The detective's paranoia is justified in this universe. Batman's cowl turned slightly, acknowledgement that he'd been listening. "You're learning." "I'm observing," Vegeta corrected coldly. "And I've concluded that remaining in this universe makes us predictable. Darkseid studies us. Mongol tested us. Others will follow. Each encounter teaches them, while teaching us nothing about them." "Then we change tactics," Superman said, floating down from the solar lamp with restored vitality. "Stop being reactive. Start gathering intelligence on Apocalypse. Learn Darkseid's capabilities before he attacks again." Easier said than done. Cyborg pulled up holographic displays showing Apocalypse itself, a world of fire and tyranny, orbiting in the darkness beyond. Pluto, Darkseid's home planet, is impregnable. Boom tube technology locks out unauthorized access. The few times we've infiltrated, we barely escaped alive. Plus, there's the metaphysical problem, Zatanna added, finishing her healing spell on Diana. Darkseid isn't just a being. He's a concept, tyranny made flesh. His true form exists in the sphere of the gods, outside normal reality. What we fight here is essentially an avatar, a projection of his full power. Goku frowned. So even if we beat him here, his real self is somewhere else. In a sense, Wonder Woman explained. The new gods exist on a higher plane. When Darkseid manifests on Earth, he's limiting himself to interact with our reality. His full power would collapse this dimension. Like Zeno, Goku said quietly, referencing the Omni King from his universe. A being whose true strength can't be unleashed without destroying everything. Vegeta's expression shifted, rare moment of genuine concern. "Then how do we actually defeat him?" "We don't," Batman stated flatly. "We repel him. Force him to conclude Earth isn't worth the effort. Make the cost of conquest exceed the value." His white lens is fixed on both Scions, which means appearing stronger than we are, forcing him to overcommit resources, then striking at a critical moment when he's vulnerable. Deception, Vegeta's smile was predatory. Fighting smart instead of just hard. Exactly. Batman pulled up tactical projections. Darkseid's next attack will be overwhelming. Force, full invasion fleet based on his personality profile. He'll want to crush any resistance completely, demonstrate absolute dominance. That's when he's most vulnerable to coordinated counterattack. "There's a problem with that strategy," Flash said. vibrating into the room with 24 hamburgers balanced impossibly on his arms. He distributed them between himself and Goku before continuing. If Darkseid brings overwhelming force and we're just barely holding him off through deception, what happens when he realizes it's a trick? Silence answered him. Because everyone knew, Darkseid wouldn't just retreat. He'd escalate beyond imagining. Then we ensure the deception is backed by real power, Wonder Woman said firmly. Call in allies. Green Lantern Corps, Atlantean armies, the Themysciran warriors, the Titans. Every hero Earth can muster. And risk exposing them to Omega beams, Batman countered. Darkseid will prioritize eliminating the strongest opposition first. We'd be painting targets on everyone who helps. So we do nothing? Superman's frustration was rare but genuine. Wait for Darkseid to attack at a time of his choosing, with tactics designed to counter everything we've shown him. No. Goku stood up, setting his empty plate aside. His expression carried the certainty of someone who'd faced extinction-level threats and survived. We train harder, get stronger, and when he comes, we hit him so hard he realizes Earth isn't worth the trouble. Your solution to every problem, Vegeta said dryly. Just get stronger. It's worked so far. Goku's grin was infectious. Plus, I've been thinking about what Zatanna said. About Darkseid being a concept, not just a person. Back home, I fought a being called Zamasu who tried to become a universal concept. We couldn't beat him through strength alone. We needed Zeno to erase him from existence. And your point? Batman asked. My point is that maybe we're thinking about this wrong. Darkseid's power is tyranny, right? Absolute control. The anti-life equation he seeks proves free will is meaningless. Goku looked around at the assembled heroes. But what if we prove him wrong? What if we show that free will, choice, cooperation, that all the things he wants to destroy are actually stronger than tyranny? Wonder Woman's eyes widened slightly. You're suggesting we fight his philosophy, not just his power. Exactly. Back home, my greatest victories came when I had help. When I worked with Vegeta, or my sons, or my friends. Alone, I would have lost to Jiren, or Broly, or Cell. But together? He looked at Vegeta. Together, we're unstoppable. Vegeta's jaw tightened, admitting he needed others went against every scion instinct. Every lesson drilled into him as a prince. But Kakarot was right. Their victory against Mongol had come through coordination, not individual power. Fine, Vegeta said stiffly. We work together, but that means actually training as a unit, not just sparring. Agreed, Superman stepped forward. We need combat drills that incorporate everyone's abilities. Learn each other's strengths, cover weaknesses, develop strategies that use the Scion's power alongside our own. I can set up simulation scenarios, Cyborg offered. Program different invasion configurations, test response times and coordination. And I'll research weaknesses, Batman added. Every being has them, even new gods. We find Darkseids, we exploit it ruthlessly. The strategy was forming, not just reaction, but preparation. Not just survival, but victory conditions. Then the Watchtower's alarms shrieked. Red lights pulsed. Klaxons wailed. Every screen in the medical bay switched to threat assessment. And the image they showed made even Vegeta's breath catch. Boom tubes. Dozens of them. Hundreds. Opening. Simultaneously in Earth's atmosphere. Above every major city. Metropolis. Gotham. London. Tokyo. Mumbai. Lagos. Sao Paulo. And through those geometric portals poured an armada. Parademons by the thousands, blotting out the sun. Apocalypse warships, each one capable of cracking continents. Fire pits that burned with the flames of conquest. And at the center of it all, the largest boom tube ever witnessed. Opening directly above the Watchtower itself. Through it stepped Darkseid, but not alone. Behind him marched his full elite, Steppenwolf with his armies. Granny Goodness leading the female Furies. Desaad with instruments of torture and transformation. Kalibak, recovered from his earlier defeat, burning for vengeance. And entities the Justice League had never encountered. New gods from Apocalypse. Darkest corners. Each one radiating power that made previous encounters look like warm-up exercises. But worse than the numbers, worse than the overwhelming force, was what Darkseid held in his massive hand. A mother box. But not just any mother box. This one. pulsed with sickly red light instead of the usual. Blue. Corrupted. Twisted. Wrong. Justice League. Darkseid's voice carried across all frequencies, broadcasting to every screen on Earth. Science. You sought to prepare, to gather strength, to resist. His eyes glowed with Omega effect. I deny you that luxury. He raised the corrupted mother box, and reality screamed. Boom tubes opened inside the watchtower. Not outside where they could be defended against. Inside. In the medical bay. In the control center. In the cafeteria and training rooms and personal quarters. Parademons poured through. And suddenly the heroes were fighting for their lives on their own station. Scatter. Batman's command cut through chaos. Defend critical systems. Cyborg. Prevent station breach. Diana. Protect the teleporters. Clark. I've got Darkseid. Superman shot through the ceiling. Toward the Lord of Apocalypse who waited in space above. Patient as gravity. Not alone you don't. Goku and Vegeta transformed simultaneously. Golden auras blazing as they followed Superman through the breach. The three of them faced Darkseid in the void of space. Earth below. Stars above, armies between them. Darkseid smiled. At last. No interruptions. No civilians to shield. No collateral damage to restrain you. He spread his arms wide, and his power radiated like a dark star. Show me everything, warriors. Every transformation. Every technique. Every desperate measure you've hidden. You want everything? Goku's aura intensified, hair growing longer as he ascended to Super Saiyan 3. Power tripled. The transformation's energy signature visible from Earth's surface. Fine. We'll show you why you should have left Earth alone. Vegeta matched the transformation. Golden hair flowing down his back. Power eclipsing everything he'd demonstrated before. Superman's eyes glowed red. Heat vision at maximum intensity. For Earth, they struck as one coordinated unit. Superman from above with speed and strength. Goku from the left with instant transmission creating impossible angles. Vegeta from the right with tactical precision. Darkseid caught all three attacks. One hand stopped Superman's punch. His shoulder absorbed Goku's kick. His knee intercepted Vegeta's strike. Predictable, Darkseid said. Then his eyes erupted with Omega effect. Twin beams lanced out, not at one target, but fragmenting, splitting into dozens of tracking projectiles that curved through space, seeking all three fighters simultaneously. Superman dodged left. Vegeta right. Goku used instant transmission to escape. The Omega beams followed. Turned. Tracked. Locked on with impossible precision. You cannot escape, Darkseid stated. You can only delay. Around them, his army engaged the Justice League. Flash vibrated through parademons, pulling civilians from cities under attack. Wonder Woman fought Steppenwolf in the skies above Metropolis, their battle shattering buildings. Batman coordinated from the collapsing watchtower. Every tactical genius focused on keeping Earth from falling. Green Lantern created shields over cities. Aquaman summoned ocean waves to fight fire pits. The Titans rallied. Atlantean warriors rose from the seas. Amazons poured through portals from Themyscira. Earth's defenders had mobilized completely. But it wasn't enough. Darkseid had brought total war. And the Omega beams kept coming, kept tracking, kept hunting the three strongest defenders with absolute certainty. Goku's instant transmission was buying seconds. Vegeta's tactical evasions bought more. Superman's speed created distance. But the beams didn't tire, didn't stop, didn't miss. Kakarot. Vegeta's voice cut through the chaos. We need to go higher. Blue. But the power output will destroy half the battlefield. That's the point. Force Darkseid to actually focus on us instead of orchestrating. Goku understood instantly. They weren't just fighting Darkseid. They were fighting his army, his strategy, his patient tactical genius. But if they escalated to blue, to genuine godly power, Darkseid would have to respond with equal focus. The strategy was risky. If Darkseid had been holding back as much as they were, this would give him permission to stop restraining himself. But they were losing. Earth was falling. And restraint was a luxury they could no longer afford. Together, Goku said. On 3. 1. Vegeta counted. 2. Superman added, understanding what they intended. 3. Goku and Vegeta transformed simultaneously. Golden auras shifting to divine azure blue. Their power exploded beyond anything witnessed in this universe. and the shockwave alone disrupted boom tubes for miles around. Darkseid's eyes widened fractionally, first sign of genuine surprise. Now, Vegeta snarled, you see what we really are. The battle for Earth had truly begun. The void of space became a canvas painted in divine light and Omega energy. Super Saiyan Blue Goku and Vegeta moved as one. Their coordination, perfected through years of rivalry, evolved into partnership. Goku appeared behind Darkseid through instant transmission, fist glowing with concentrated God Ki. Vegeta struck from the front, energy crackling with tactical precision. Superman flanked, heat vision carving lines of solar fury. Darkseid weathered all three attacks. But for the first time, he was forced backward. One step, then another. The Lord of Apocalypse, avatar of tyranny itself, was being pushed back by coordinated assault. Impressive, Darkseid acknowledged, and his tone carried respect. You've achieved divine status through mortal effort. Rare. Admirable. His eyes began to glow brighter. Ultimately insufficient. The Omega beams erupted, not as twin lances, but as a spreading wave, dozens of tracking beams fragmenting, further into hundreds, each one independently targeting. The assault was mathematically impossible to dodge. Every angle covered, every escape route predicted. Kamehameha. Goku's blue beam met the Omega wave head-on, divine ki against erasure energy. The collision lit up space like a supernova, and for 3 agonizing seconds, neither force gave ground. Then Goku's beam began to crack. He's overwhelming it. Vegeta's hands came together, purple energy gathering. Final flash. His blast joined Goku's, 2 streams of divine power combining, pushing back against Omega effect. Superman added his heat vision, Kryptonian solar energy completing the trinity of opposition. The Omega wave shattered, fragments dispersing into space. And Darkseid actually stepped back again, this time from necessity, not tactics. You coordinate well, Darkseid observed. Better than any force I've encountered in millennia. Perhaps Earth deserves my personal attention after all. He moved, and even Super Saiyan Blue couldn't fully track the speed. One moment he was meters away. The next his fist connected with Vegeta's jaw with force that sent the Saiyan Prince careening through his own army's warships. 3 Apocalypse vessels exploded from the impact. Goku and Superman struck simultaneously at Darkseid's exposed side. Their fists landed, and this time, Darkseid actually grunted with pain. Real damage. Not significant, but present. Proof that godly power could touch him. Good. Darkseid caught both their wrists, holding them in place despite their struggles. Now multiply that effort by 10,000. Then you might actually threaten me. He threw them apart. Superman toward Earth, Goku into the moon's orbit. Both warriors caught themselves, but precious seconds were lost. Seconds Darkseid used to redirect his army's focus. On Earth's surface, the battle had become apocalyptic. Flash vibrated through Gotham, evacuating civilians as parademons raised entire blocks. His speed was saving thousands, but millions remained in danger. I can't be everywhere at once, he shouted into his calm. You don't have to be. Batman's voice came from the collapsing watchtower where he coordinated from backup systems. Green Lantern, redirect to Gotham. Aquaman, pull Parademon forces toward coastal cities where your armies have advantage. Diana, Steppenwolf is pushing toward Washington. Stop him. Wonder Woman parried Steppenwolf's electro-axe with her bracers. Divine metal holding against new god engineering. I'm slightly occupied. Then occupy him harder. Batman's tactical display showed Earth losing ground on every front. Metropolis under siege. Tokyo burning. Mumbai evacuating through boom tubes Cyborg had hijacked. Lagos defending against Parademon swarms that blotted out the sun. They were losing. Slowly. Inevitably. The League was mighty. But Apocalypse was infinite. We need those Scions back. Cyborg shouted, fighting to keep the Watchtower systems online as Parademons tore through bulkheads. Darkseid's keeping them occupied while his army conquers Earth. That's the strategy, Batman said coldly, fingers flying across damaged keyboards. Darkseid knew we'd grown dependent on the Scions as heavy hitters. He's neutralizing them personally while his forces overwhelm everything else. So what do we do? Flash asked, desperation creeping into his voice. He'd just watched a building collapse despite his best efforts, and the guilt was crushing. Batman's jaw tightened behind his cowl. This was the scenario he'd feared from the beginning, overwhelming force against divided defenses. The Justice League had saved Earth countless times, but always with full coordination, always with Superman and Diana at full strength. Now Superman fought in space. Diana battled Steppenwolf alone, and the rest were scattered across a planet drowning in parademons. We adapt, Batman said finally. Vic, can you hijack boom tube technology? I've been trying. Their mother box encryption is, wait. Cyborg's mechanical life flared. The corrupted mother box Darkseid brought. It's broadcasting on a different frequency. Less secure because it's modified. I might be able to. Do it, Batman commanded. Reverse their invasion. Turn their boom tubes against them. That's insane. If I mess up, I could open portals into Earth's core or deep space. Or do it anyway. We're out of conventional options. In space, Vegeta rejoined the battle, blue aura blazing with renewed fury. Kakarot, stop holding back. I'm not. Yes, you are. Vegeta's blast carved through 3 Parademon ships. You're afraid to go all out because you think it'll destroy Earth. But Earth's already being destroyed while you hesitate. Goku's expression hardened because Vegeta was right. He'd been moderating his power, terrified that using Kaioken on top of Blue, or attempting Ultra Instinct, would create shockwaves that would crack Earth's crust. But his restraint was allowing Darkseid to fight a war of attrition. And attrition favored the Infinite Army. Together then, Goku said, and his power began climbing higher. Red aura mixed with blue as Kaioken activated, times 10, times 20, pushing toward limits he'd only reached once before. Let's end this. Vegeta's aura exploded to match, blue form pushed to absolute maximum. Both scions together now radiated power that made nearby space warp. Gravity wells forming around them as physics strained to contain godly ki. Superman rejoined them, and though he couldn't match their divine transformation, his Kryptonian biology had been absorbing solar radiation throughout the battle. He was stronger now than when he'd started. One final push, Clark said. We hit Darkseid with everything. Force him to retreat or commit so completely that he exposes a weakness. And if he doesn't have weaknesses? Vegeta asked. Then we make one. Goku's hands came together, cupping as blue energy gathered between them. Not a normal Kamehameha. This was divine ki concentrated to a degree he'd only achieved against Jiren, the power to shake universes compressed into a beam, narrow enough to pierce through concepts. Vegeta mirrored the stance, but his energy was different. Final Kamehameha. Technique he'd developed by combining his Final Flash with Goku's signature move. Purple and blue energies spiraling together, tactical precision meeting raw power. Superman's eyes began to glow, but not with normal heat vision. This was solar flare. Every ounce of yellow sun radiation stored in his cells, released in one devastating burst. The sacrifice would leave him powerless afterward. But if it helped in Darkseid, Kamehameha. Final Kamehameha. Solar. Darkseid saw it coming. Saw 3 universe-shaking attacks about to converge on him simultaneously. Saw that even his considerable power might not weather this storm unscathed. And he smiled. Yes, this is what I sought. His hands spread wide, and the Omega effect radiated from every part of his body. Not beams this time. A field. A zone where existence itself bent to his will. Where entropy and tyranny rewrote physics. Show me the futility of your hope. Hiya. All 3 warriors released simultaneously. Blue Kamehameha. Purple-blue Final Kamehameha. Golden solar flare. 3 streams of annihilation converging on Darkseid from different angles, each one carrying enough power to atomize planets. They hit. The explosion was visible from Earth's surface. A new star igniting where Darkseid had stood. The shockwave disrupted boom tubes across the solar system. Parademons faltered mid-attack. Apocalypse ships lost coordination. On Earth, Batman watched through satellite feeds. Did they? The star dimmed, and through it emerged Darkseid. Armor cracked, stone-like skin bleeding ichor. One arm hanging limp, but alive. Standing. Smiling. Magnificent, he said, voice carrying across space through sheer will. You've actually wounded me. An achievement perhaps a dozen beings in all existence can claim. Goku and Vegeta floated in space, chests heaving, power levels dropping as stamina depleted. That attack had used everything. They were still in blue form, but barely. One more exchange, and they'd drop to base. Superman drifted, eyes no longer glowing, solar reserves completely exhausted. He was conscious but powerless, exactly as he'd feared. But wounds heal. Darkseid continued. Already, his body was regenerating, god-level recovery knitting damaged flesh. And I learned from pain. Your attack. I've analyzed its composition, its power distribution, its weaknesses. His eyes glowed red. I will not be struck by it again. Omega beams lanced out. Faster than before, more numerous, adapting to counter every evasion pattern they'd demonstrated. Goku tried instant transmission. The beams were waiting at his arrival point. He barely twisted aside, but one grazed his shoulder. An agony unlike anything he'd felt before erupted. Not pain, erasure, as if that part of his body was being removed from reality's memory. Vegeta dodged 3 beams only to have a 4th appear from nowhere, curving in impossible geometry. It caught his leg, and the prince's scream echoed across the battlefield. They were going to lose. After everything. After godly transformations. And perfect coordination and sacrificing power reserves. Darkseid remained. Stronger. Smarter. Inevitable. Then Cyborg's voice crackled across all frequencies. I'm in. Boom tube network hijacked. Batman, what's the target? Batman didn't hesitate. He'd been planning this contingency since the moment Darkseid arrived with a corrupted mother box. Open. A portal directly to the source wall. Target. Darkseid's position. On the watchtower, Zatanna's eyes widened. Bruce, no. The source wall is the edge of reality. Anything that touches it becomes part of it. Permanently. I know. Batman's voice was ice. Do it, Vic. That's execution, Wonder Woman said, horror in her voice even as she fought. Not justice. It's survival, Batman countered. We're out of options and out of time. Darkseid won't stop, won't negotiate, won't accept anything less than absolute conquest. So we remove him from the equation. Permanently. It's also a violation of everything we stand for. Superman said weakly through his calm, floating powerless in space. Then stand for it while Earth burns. This is war, Clark. And in war, you don't give the enemy infinite chances to kill you. The argument could have lasted forever, but reality made the decision for them. Because Darkseid heard everything. His smile widened. You would condemn me to the source wall? Bold. Desperate. Futile. He raised his remaining functional arm. And the corrupted mother box in his grip pulsed. Every boom tube on Earth collapsed inward, portals inverting, dragging everything into dimensional flux. If I cannot have Earth, Darkseid stated with terrible finality, then it shall serve as a lesson to all who resist apocalypse. Let this world be your tomb. The boom tubes began merging, reality tearing as they formed one massive portal, not to apocalypse, but to the heart of a dying star. Stellar fire began pouring through, temperatures that would sterilize Earth's surface within minutes. No, Goku's power flared desperately, blue form flickering as he tried to close the portal with raw ki. But his energy was depleted, strength fading. Vegeta joined him, both scions pouring what remained into sealing the breach. But it wasn't enough. They'd given everything against Darkseid, and now they had nothing left for this final crisis. Superman tried to move, but without solar power. He was just a man floating in space. Wonder Woman was pinned by Steppenwolf. Flash couldn't vibrate fast enough to phase through stellar fire. Green Lantern's ring was at 3% and dropping. They'd fought impossible odds and won countless times. But this time, the impossible was winning. Then a voice cut through the chaos. Cyborg, revelation in his tone. Wait. The corrupted mother box. It's not just controlling boom tubes. It's sustaining Darkseid's manifestation in our reality. Destroy it, and his avatar collapses. Can't get to it, Goku gasped, holding back stellar fire with trembling hands. He's holding it. Then I'll get it, Flash said suddenly. I've got one shot left in me. Full speed force immersion. I won't be able to maintain it for more than a second, and it'll probably kill me, but… Do it, Batman said immediately. Barry, Superman started. Do it now. Batman's command overrode sentiment. Flash took a breath. Then another. Then he touched the speed force completely, not as conduit, but as part of it. Becoming lightning. Becoming motion itself. He crossed the distance between Earth and Darkseid in a time measurement so small it registered as 0. His hand phased through Darkseid's grip. Vibrating molecules passed New God flesh and closed around the corrupted mother box. For one perfect instant, Barry Allen held ultimate power and ultimate weakness in his hand. Then he crushed it. The explosion was metaphysical, not heat or force, but reality reasserting itself. Every boom tube snapped shut simultaneously. The stellar portal collapsed. Darkseid's manifestation flickered, form destabilizing as his anchor to Earth's dimension shattered. Impossible. For the first time, genuine rage cracked Darkseid's composure. You dare? Yes, Flash said, falling, energy spent. Body burning from speed force immersion. We dare. That's what makes us different from you. Wonder Woman caught him before he hit Earth's atmosphere, cradling the speedster gently. Rest, Barry. You've earned it. Darkseid's form was dissolving, pulled back toward the sphere of gods. But his eyes remained fixed on the assembled heroes with absolute promise. This changes nothing. I will return. With armies. With weapons. With forces that will make this invasion look like reconnaissance. And when I do, we'll be ready, Goku said, somehow finding strength to stand despite exhaustion. And next time, we won't hold back at all. Next time, Vegeta added, blue form finally flickering out entirely. We'll do more than wound you. Darkseid's smile returned, terrible and patient. I look forward to it, Science. Until we meet again, and we will meet again, ponder this. You've won one battle. I've waged this war for millennia, across countless worlds, against countless heroes. And I, always, win. His form vanished, pulled back to Apocalypse, leaving behind an army in full retreat. Warships fleeing through emergency portals. Parademons scattering without direction. Earth had survived. Barely. Cities damaged. Thousands dead. Infrastructure destroyed. But alive. Defiant. Standing. 2 days later, repairs were underway across the planet. Atlantean engineers worked alongside human construction crews. Amazonians helped evacuate collapsed buildings. The Titans coordinated relief efforts. Green Lantern Corps sent support. The Justice League gathered in the rebuilt Watchtower, not fully operational yet, but stable enough for meetings. And around a conference table sat heroes who'd faced impossible odds and survived. Casualty reports are still coming in, Cyborg said quietly. Current estimate, for 1,000 dead, 20,000 injured, 40 cities with significant damage. The weight of those numbers settled over everyone. For 1,000 lives. For 1,000 people who died while heroes fought in space. We should have been faster, Superman said. And the guilt in his voice was palpable. We should have been stronger, Goku added, looking at his hands as if they'd betrayed him. We should have anticipated this, Batman said flatly. Stop. Wonder Woman's voice cut through the self-recrimination. All of you. We fought a god of tyranny and his infinite army. We were outmatched, outgunned, and unprepared. And we still won. 4,000 dead is a tragedy. But 7 billion alive is a victory. Her eyes swept across the table. Honor the fallen by learning, not by drowning in guilt. She was right, and everyone knew it. But knowing didn't make the weight easier to bear. Flash's condition? Superman asked, changing subject to something actionable. Stable, Zatanna reported. Speed force burns across 70% of his body. He'll recover, but it'll take weeks. He pushed himself to absolute limits, crushing that mother box. He saved Earth, Goku said quietly. Risked everything for people he barely knows I exist. That's a real hero. As are you. Wonder Woman looked at both Science. You held back stellar fire that would have incinerated the planet. You fought Darkseid to a standstill. You proved that even gods can bleed. She smiled slightly. Earth is fortunate you crashed here instead of somewhere else. Vegeta shifted uncomfortably. We also attracted Darkseid's attention. Escalated his timeline. Got thousands killed. Darkseid was always coming, Batman corrected. You accelerated the schedule, yes. But you also gave us advance warning, time to prepare, and power we wouldn't have possessed otherwise. The invasion would have been worse without you. Is he really gone? Aquaman asked the question on everyone's mind. Or will he return as he promised? He'll return, Batman stated with absolute certainty. Darkseid doesn't make empty threats. But not immediately. Today's defeat will force him to reconsider strategy, rebuild forces, develop countermeasures. specifically for Scion biology. And Divine Key. He pulled up projections. Conservative estimate, 6 months before next invasion attempt. Optimistic, 2 years. Time we'll use to prepare, Superman said firmly. Build better defenses. Train harder. Maybe. He looked at Goku. Maybe learn some of your techniques. Could humans develop ki? Maybe. Goku's enthusiasm rekindled. Back home, my friends are human and they can use ki. Krillin, Tien, Yamcha, they've mastered it through training. Your bodies might work differently, but the principle is the same. Life energy exists in everyone. Then we have a path forward, Wonder Diana said. The Scions teach us their techniques. We help them understand our universe's power systems. We prepare for Darkseid's return together. There's still the dimensional breach problem, Zatanna interjected. Goku and Vegeta being here is wonderful for Earth's defense. But their universe likely needs them too. We need to find a way to send them home, while keeping the breach sealed so Darkseid can't follow, Cyborg added. Goku and Vegeta exchanged glances. The prospect of going home was appealing. Families, friends, their own Earth. But also, they'd grown to respect this universe's heroes. Formed bonds, found worthy opponents and valuable allies. We should return, Vegeta said finally. Our responsibilities are in our own universe. But, he paused, surprising everyone. But if you need us, if Darkseid returns before you're ready, find a way to contact us. We'll come back. A promise from the Prince of Scions, Wonder Woman smiled. I'll hold you to that. As will I. Superman extended his hand. Thank you. For everything. Goku shook it warmly. Thank you for letting us help. And for teaching us about your universe. I've learned a lot. So have we, Batman said quietly. More than we expected. About power. About coordination. About the value of warriors. Who fight with joy instead of grim. Determination. His white lenses fixed on both Scions. If you do return to face Darkseid again, be careful. He knows your techniques now. Your transformations. Your power ceiling. He'll come prepared to counter everything you've shown him. Then we'll show him something new, Goku grinned. That's what training's for. Over the next week, Zatanna and Cyborg worked around the clock on dimensional transit. Constantine provided mystical framework. The Scions prepared to return home. And on their final night on Earth, the Justice League threw a celebration, small, private. Just the core team and 2 warriors from another universe who'd become friends. They ate together, trained one last time in the mirror dimension, shared stories of battles fought and victories earned. And when the portal finally opened, stable this time, controlled, leading directly back to Goku's Earth, the Scions stepped through with promises to return if needed and friendships that transcended dimensions. The breach sealed behind them, reality healing as if they'd never crossed at all. But Earth remembered. The Justice League remembered. And they continued training, preparing, growing stronger for the day Darkseid would inevitably return. Because the Scions had taught them something crucial. Limits were meant to be broken. Impossibilities were invitations. And the greatest power wasn't strength alone, but the refusal to ever stop fighting for what mattered. On Apocalypse, in his throne room of living obsidian, Darkseid sat with his wounds fully healed, his power restored, his patience infinite. The battle had been educational. The Scions were formidable, but not invincible. Their divine transformations impressive, but limited by stamina. Their coordination strong, but predictable with sufficient observation. And most importantly, they could be pushed. Through hostages. Through threats to their adopted world. Through challenges to their warrior pride. The next invasion would account for everything. The Scions would return. Darkseid knew this with the certainty of one who understood warriors. And when they did, he would be ready not just to counter them, but to break them. To show them that hope was futile. That resistance was meaningless. That tyranny was inevitable. But Desaad, observing his master's contemplation, dared to ask, Master, they proved resilient. What if they grow stronger still before your return? Darkseid's smile was terrible to behold. Then the victory will be all the sweeter. And in that smile lay the truth that haunted every hero who'd faced him. Darkseid didn't just want to conquer. He wanted to prove that free will was meaningless. That everything, strength, hope, friendship, sacrifice, ultimately bowed before absolute power. He'd lost this battle, but in his mind, he'd already won the war. It was just a matter of time. Back on Earth, in the watchtower, Batman stood alone at the observation window, watching the planet rotate below. Behind him, the rest of the League had dispersed to their cities, their lives, their responsibilities. But Bruce remained, mind already working through contingencies for the next invasion. Plans within plans. Strategies built on strategies. Because he'd learned something too. Something the Scions had demonstrated through their mere existence. The universe was bigger than Earth ever imagined. Threats more terrible, powers more absolute. And preparation was the only currency that bought survival. Alfred, he spoke into his calm. Yes, Master Bruce. The butler's voice carried across the distance. Update all contingency files. Priority level Omega. Includes Scion power scaling, divine transformation protocols, and dimensional breach scenarios. Very good, sir. And might I inquire, how was it fighting alongside warriors of such magnitude? Batman was quiet for a moment, watching Earth's sun rise over the horizon. Then, almost too soft to hear, inspiring, and absolutely terrifying. Because the Scions had shown him that even Batman's legendary preparation had limits. That some threats couldn't be countered through tactics alone. That sometimes you needed more than intelligence and willpower. Sometimes you needed hope made manifest. Power channeled through joy. Strength earned through friendship. Everything Bruce Wayne had spent his life trying not to rely on. But if Darkseid returned, Bruce would need all of it. Every ally, every technique, every ounce of power Earth could muster. And maybe, just maybe, two warriors from across dimensions who'd promised to return when darkness called. The sun continued rising, golden lights spilling across Earth's surface, illuminating cities rebuilding, heroes recovering, people hoping. And in that light, Batman allowed himself the smallest measure of optimism. They'd faced a god and survived. Next time, they'd be ready. Next time, they'd do more than survive. They'd win.